Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time has come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Good morning, good evening, good dawn, good dusk, wherever you are in the world. It's guerrilla cricket. Yay! It's the last day of the English Test summer, sadly, and it's quite a glum day. And we are at a point where England have decided to fuck it up in this final test. Having been 290 odd for 3, they managed to get themselves all out for 300 and not many. They decided to bowl 17 overs, was it roughly, of spin on day 2, Saturday, when they should have just gone off. Gifted Sri Lanka about 80 or 90 runs, which left them only 62 behind, and then decided to go really slap happy in the second innings. Except for, I did watch Joe Root get pinged LBW by what was a pretty good ball.
Well, Root and Brook, wasn't it? Yeah. Vishwa Fernando looked, in that spell, looked really unplayable.
Good, yeah.
For the first time in the match, it was like a bowler getting batsmen out as opposed to batsmen getting themselves out.
Exactly that, and they were two very important batsmen. Good little innings by Jamie Smith. Left Sri Lanka require, what was it, 220 odd to win?
218, I think the total.
218 to win.
Target.
29.
Yeah, they got to 94 for 1 in about 15 overs yesterday, so they're rattling along. But it was sunny and looked like the best batting conditions for a while yesterday. However, now it's touch and go whether England will be able to bowl the seamers, I'd have thought, in terms of light terms. And as we were discussing just before, Grubby, who's next to me, and Messi Jez, who is obviously in Perth. If that's the case, England shouldn't bloody take the field, should they?
Well, they should learn the lesson from what happened on Saturday. As you say there, it was 90, 100 runs gifted to Sri Lanka, which at the moment looks like that could be the difference. If Sri Lanka do have to get out there in these conditions, it's only about 16 degrees out as well, so it's cold, it's overcast. That's the only thing, actually, with it being a bit cooler, whether you'll get that movement through the air that you sometimes do get under cloud. But England have put themselves in a pretty tricky position. Sri Lanka bowled well yesterday. As mentioned, Vishwa Fernando, he looked unplayable for that spell where he got Root and Brook. Josh Hull has occasionally threatened to bowl deliveries like that in parts of this match as well. Also, Nissanka batted extremely well in the last hour and a half yesterday. Really taking, well, Sri Lanka to the brink of victory, really. So they'll be very happy with where they are at the moment in this Test match.
Well, of course, all three of us have gone on the unlikely odds of England winning this game because they were quite attractive at 7-1, and when 120 odd runs are still required, and a grey morning, and hopefully the ball will do something. A couple of early wickets probably put the cat amongst the pigeons. I suppose with Kamindu Mendes batting at number 7, they do bat reasonably long.
He won't be batting at 7 for long in his Test career, will he, Kamindu?
Well, you wouldn't have thought so. Well, I don't know
about that. I think he might stay there. You know, might do a Gilchrist or
indeed
a Jamie Smith.
Well, I think
great person to have there.
Well, it is, sure. But unless he's actually going to keep, or they're actually going to use him as a bowler, it's a luxury they can't afford, surely. Yeah, exactly.
And he's averaging, 70 in Test cricket so far?
Yeah,
he's got to be shunted up.
I mean, even if you shunt him up one place to allow an extra bowler in the side.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've got all your keepers are in the top 6 anyway, so you might as well.
This is good news. We are going to start on time, look.
Ooh, excellent. I've got to go under for the fall of the first wicket, of course.
Gus Atkinson has ball in hand. Pretty grey over there, as we mentioned, and not many people at the Oval, which is disappointing. I know it's a Monday, unlike Lord's last week, that debacle, but it's very thinly populated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's cold. It's 15 degrees, and it's a 10-kilometre-an-hour wind from the northwest. So
it's
a
the final day of the Test match summer, though.
Indeed.
Get yourselves down there.
I hate it when everyone in England
indolent lot.
It's the end of summer. I remember it being about 25 in the middle of bloody October last year. These things are, cyclic, funnily enough. It's weather. Under 115 and a half for the fall of the first wicket. They're offering me 21 runs.
Yep. Get on that. You're on ball by ball here, Bed. You want to?
I am. Yeah. First ball, shit down the leg side. I think it's Gus Atkinson's bowling it, and there is no run. Can't afford to have too many wasteful deliveries today. I'm going to play some jingles.
Mendes was a man who thought he was a keeper, so they played him as a number 3.
That'll get us dinged on YouTube first thing in the morning. First ball is just defended up to mid-on. Second ball, sorry, and there is no run. The other batsman who batted extraordinarily well yesterday.
A Nissanka should drive very smoothly.
Patel Nissanka, and the bowler is
Gus Atkinson. He's not one to complain. He hopes he's not like Jafra, breaking down after every game.
Well, third ball is short and wide and slapped straight at Ollie Stone, who at point, that was a bit of a waste, could have been 4 runs.
He looked not 100% yesterday, Atkinson. I don't know if there's been any public statement about what's wrong with him, but he was not a happy boy, was he?
No.
And if you look at his radar so far today, 1 down the arse, 1 short and wide.
1 defended up to mid-on. Fourth ball of the over. Hopefully it's a wicket. Oh, it's not bad ball there. On the stumps, defended by Kusal. Back towards the bowlers. No one. Pace down at 83. I guess he's played, 6 out of 6 now, hasn't he? In the space of... Well, there was a break, wasn't there, in August, but 3 again on the bounce. He's going to have to get used to this.
Yeah. Messi, you've probably watched more of this Test match than I have, even though I was there on Friday. Yeah. Any sense that Atkinson's trouble was a muscular one or something like that?
Yes, it looked like it was the top of his thigh, or maybe in his groin even. He had a bandage of some sort on the top of his thigh.
Slight groin strain.
Come off on day 2, I think it was.
That one is knocked down to short leg. Now, did it carry? I'm not sure it did. No, we're not looking at that ball though. We're looking at the one previously, which squared up Kusor a little bit. Did they go Ollie Stone at the other end? They'll probably go Wokes, won't they, first thing?
I'd have thought they'd start with Wokes, yeah. It's got that lovely cherry red look, the ball,
Yeah.
in these conditions.
It's only had 15 overs. That's a decent ball. Arrowing in towards mid-off, but nicely played by Nissanka. It's racing off down towards the boundary. Is it going to be... Oh, I think it's not going to be stopped because it's then rolled over the boundary line. Although the sponge was hit back, Pope chased it down. And that is the first of these for the day.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Striving for a little bit too much there, but hey ho. Messi, who's joined us this morning?
Well, on Blue Sky, Kiwi by Day says, I'm sorry to hear it's the last day of the English Test summer. Also sorry that you always start about half an hour past my bedtime. So good night and enjoy the last day. Well, the good news is when we get to Pakistan in a couple of weeks' time, you'll still be well and truly up because it'll be 5:30 a.m. in the UK.
No, it's starting at 6:30 a.m. in the morning over here. Because it'll still be British summertime. British summertime doesn't end until October, so it's GMT. So that's not so bad.
Still, yeah, that is good. But it's also good if you're in New Zealand because you get to listen to us a bit.
And that's also going to be interesting because it looks like, if they do play in Pakistan, it looks like all the tests will be played at Rawalpindi, which has just had 2 tests versus Bangladesh. I don't know how many pitches they've got there, but we might be playing on a warm pitch, which might actually make...
they were talking about having one at, is it Jaipur? As well. I can't remember. I was looking at the article yesterday on Creek Info. I think it's all pretty much up in the air.
It is very much up in the air. There's no TV rights signed as yet. The bowler at the other end is, as we suspected.
He's on Instagram, and he's a Twitter fan. On the Ashes tour, not Ben Stokes, but he'll have to do.
Yep, he's going to come in from the other end. Bowling to Nissanka. First ball, it's a good ball. A little bit of away shape. Good length. Gets right behind it there and defends it into the offside. There's no run. He's been pretty good, Nissanka, this test, hasn't he? He's rattled along. 60 odd in the first innings or 50 odd in the first innings. It's on 53 not out.
Beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
No, he batted beautifully yesterday, the last hour or so. And when England had struggled quite badly earlier in the day, for whatever reason, he was able to come out and play just great cricket shots.
Well, I also think England's setting a much more sensible field today. They haven't got 17 slips.
Well, they've got 3, which might be... squared up! Jesus, I thought he missed that and hit him on the pads. It would have been plumb LBW, but it hasn't. Did square him up, though, and he edged it out to... leading edge out to cover, and there's no run.
I actually think he got the full face of the bat on that.
Or
maybe I'm watching a different ball. Sorry.
No, definitely, definitely a leading edge.
Sorry.
Played across it, leading edge. Bit of classic Wokes away movement.
Yes. Being a ball behind is confusing for me.
Well, hopefully up and running again with all our technology by the end of this week. Oh, that's edged! Oh, it's gone down into the ground to Harry Brook, who's at second slip. It's all happening! It's all happening! It's only 78 miles an hour, but it's all happening.
We can all tell that you've had the underbet.
Yes.
Judging by your commentary of the last 2 balls.
Well, it adds a little bit of spice. It adds a little bit of spice.
It does, yeah, a bit of frisson.
Plus, we've also, all of us, got varying degrees of odds on. What did you get on England, Messi?
I got $7.40, so 6.5 to 1.
Oh, yeah, I got 6 to 1. Grubby managed to get 7s. Wokes is in. That's on the pads, though. 2 full and just clipped around the corner, down to long leg. Josh Hull is down there. And it's good that England can bowl the seamers.
I heard the nerdiest thing yesterday from Test Match Special. Sorry. And it was that Josh Hull is the joint second tallest player to represent England, but his release point, in terms of a bowler, is only the 15th highest.
Yes, he collapses a little bit at the crease. I'm sure they'll...
Fantastically nerdy, though, I thought. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see
Yeah.
whether some coaching staff can ruin him by trying to do something different. That one does square up Kusel a little bit again. He defends it off the outside edge of the bat.
Yeah.
Through to the keeper, no run.
Yeah, they were saying Stuart Broad has a higher delivery point than he does.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, Stuart Broad's not exactly short.
He's not a midget by any means.
Harmison was the tallest of England's bowlers release points. If you saw
Yeah.
the graph,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I can sort of picture him very high and straight action. God, he was great, wasn't he?
He was
20
great.
20 years ago, he was the number 1 bowler in the world.
Well, that when he was on it.
7 for 12 in Jamaica.
That Ashes series as well in England.
In Australia, you still remember for that first ball.
Well, I can imagine.
Second slip.
Defended again by Kusel out to gully, and there is no run.
Yeah, no, that was probably his most famous single delivery. Although I would like him to be remembered for the slower ball against Michael Clarke at Edgbaston, because he didn't really have a slower ball, or so we thought. And then he bowled that one, and the tremendous Mark Nicholas commentary, Harmison with a slower ball, one of the great balls. And I know it was tight in the end, that game, but that ball, when Clarke and whoever was batting with him were taking the game away from England on the Saturday evening,
It was the last ball of the day as well, wasn't it? 'Cause
Was
it
it?
went off after that. Yeah.
Just a few hellos from Leah, from Jamar the Stats Man, from
Hello.
Jonathan Shawland, Michael Bedford, Ben McCormick, Jay Grover, hey up lads,
Yep.
Stephen Kelk, Johan Ariadnam, and Kieran Roseblade. Good to have you all with us. Thank you.
Hello, chums.
Yep. Atkinson is in, and again, inside half of the bat, squirts out onto the leg side, past short leg. They think about 2, they get 2. Still need 118 runs to win.
For no apparent reason, Jay just says Robin Marler is a bell end. That is all. That's a mean thing to say about a Sussex player of great renown.
I wonder if you care to expand on that, Jay. I'm sure you would.
I'm sure you would.
He's probably been reading a book about him.
Well, Atkinson's gone at 6 and over, hasn't he?
Bloody reading.
Yes. He's in again. That's full driven, only as far as mid-on. As they're striving for a little bit. Not getting much in the air, Atkinson.
As I feared, because it's cold, it's less likely to move, I think, through the air. Relatively cold.
He's not a massive swing bowler, though, is he, Atkinson? He's more of a seam.
He's more hit the deck, isn't he?
Yeah. Very much so.
But yeah, Wokes and Hull, when he comes into the attack, will be hoping for some movement through the air.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about Hull is he's a bit inconsistent, isn't he? Bowls some cracking balls and then some short, wide shit. That one is clipped again into the leg side to short leg. Who's Dan Lawrence, who's quite deeply set. One that pops up.
Whatever Hull's failings are, you can hardly blame him, given how little first-class cricket he's played.
Well,
he's never
exactly.
taken more than 3 wickets in an innings.
Yeah. Well, he could get 5 for today.
Mind you, he might have dropped this match as well.
Well, again, yeah.
Poor lad.
Poor lad, exactly.
Oh, that was a shocker.
It was a total shocker. I think I was on air at the time. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
A few cuss words.
Yeah, well, I was bemoaning the fact that England should have gone off. That one is shorter into the leg side and there's no run. And then he just popped one up to mid-on. You thought, oh, that's going to work. Somehow they managed to
because
get
of
a
that
wicket.
drop, they probably stayed on for longer than they would have, thinking they might get another one.
Well, exactly that too. I mean, last night they decided 1 over of spin, which went for 7, and then that was it, wasn't it? And that was the right thing to do. I wouldn't have even
England are
bothered.
8-1 if you want to have another nibble.
No.
Nah, you're all right. I've made my play.
Yes.
I'll get to hedge out to get 9 down and need 10 runs though. I'm sure it'll be around about evens then. Defended. Back to the bowler and there's no run.
Jay says Harmison said that ball were a mistake. He just fell over.
It was clearly a
I'm not sure if
mistake.
it's the wide or the slower one.
It was clearly a mistake.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think he's at the top of his run-up going, what should I bowl here? Top of off stump, maybe a Yorker? No, I think I'll bowl it to second slip.
Was
Don't
that-
think he was thinking that.
That was 2007, wasn't it? When the Pedlo and all the rest of
Six,
it.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was, when, it was the Adelaide
2006.
Test disaster and all that shit that went
That
down.
was Brisbane. Must have been Brisbane, that.
Yeah,
It
that was,
Brisbane,
yeah.
Although the first
ooh.
test from now on will be in Perth. So
Interesting. That's played up towards mid-on. There's no run. So what's the order next time round then? Perth is the one I hate.
Perth, Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney.
Perth. The problem with
And
Perth
Brisbane
is
it's going to be a pink ball, I think.
Why do they have to change things? Why can't things
Well,
just stay
see-
the same all the time?
I don't mind that, but what they could do for English audiences is make it Perth the day-night test, because then at least it would start at 5 in the morning. I don't mind it if they start at 10 or 11 or 12. You can kind of get in with that, but Perth starts at like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's the worst of all possible worlds.
The trouble with that is if you're playing at 9 o'clock at night in Perth, it's 11 o'clock at night. Midnight in Melbourne.
Well, you know, if you want to watch your cricket, just stay up for fuck's sake. Think about us poor fuckers in England. Wokes is in. Oh, squared up again, dropped into the offside. It's a bit of a yes, no, clawed. Did they hit the wicket? I think it might have done, but I think he was home. They might have a look at it. It was fielded at point. They are going to have a look at it. It was a direct hit, but I'm pretty certain that Kusal was home. It was Gus Atkinson who hit the stumps.
They're not leaping about as if they're competent, are
No, he's a bit slow getting his bat down. It's in. Oh, yes, he's just
In.
about home. He's home by a foot,
Yeah.
2 foot. Good throw, good running. It was Kusal who called it. If they had gone to the other end, they might have been a bit closer if it had been direct hit. Nissanka wasn't started and stopped for a minute.
they? I'm intrigued to know what ticket prices were today at the Oval. I bet I bet it's not 95 quid like it was at Lord's last Sunday,
I bet it was.
No, I bet they're about 10 or 15 quid.
because we know what we're doing in South London.
No, of course we do. Posh fuckers up
Sorry.
at home of cricket. That's down leg side, surely that's out. Ooh, now that's interesting. That's that thigh pad or glove? Well, actually, no one's that interested, so it must have been thigh pad. Certainly, there was a deflection down the leg side. We missed one early in the season. Was it the series or against the West Indies? There was a little nick down leg side. Everyone appealed for and then didn't review, and it actually turned out as a little nick.
I think Pope's still waiting to get his first one right, isn't he? On the review front.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah, it
actually
was-
off the thigh pad.
Yeah.
Have they got leg slipping? I don't think they have. It's just an ill-directed ball. Wokes it again, covered again, defended, out to cover, and there is no run.
Well, I can get a seat on the JM Finn balcony for £145 today.
Blimey,
Fucking
Charlie.
I can't imagine people taking that many fucking offers of that one.
Does that include your flight, Messrs?
Yeah. Return flight included and hotel. That'd be a good deal.
From £25, apparently.
There you go.
There
See,
you
that's
go.
sensible, isn't it?
Yeah. Wokes in again. Fourth ball of the over. Oh, now that hits the pad as an appeal. Don't think so. Probably a little bit high. Definitely maybe going down leg side.
Don't review it, Ollie.
Don't review it, Ollie. Look, we've only got 2 reviews left.
Well, just that it wasn't. It's not going to be overturned.
No, certainly isn't. I don't mind reviewing it if you think it's going to be umpire's call, but I'm not even sure that was going to be umpire's call.
Might have been clipping the top of leg stump. It was just on the angle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's too high.
And I think that's probably going to be missing, actually.
Yeah.
Close. Yeah, Jamie Smith knows.
Yeah.
He's motioning like an air traffic controller.
Wokes in again. That's driven nicely. Just past. Gus Atkinson, I think, at cover.
Yeah, who's still moving very gingerly, isn't he?
Yeah. He'll get a single. Well, he'll have a couple of. Has he picked for the ODI squads? I think they've left him out, haven't they, for the
Atkinson?
T20s? Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't pick him. Certainly not with the little tweak that he's got.
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely out of the T20 squad. They might well leave him out at the ODI squad now. It's a whole new ball game. We're going to have to get a whole bunch of jingles in because I don't know who the fuck's playing.
Oh, I misled you. The £25 is for juniors.
Oh.
The cheapest seat I can see at the Oval today is 75 quid.
That's a bit too much. That's short, wide, and pretty crap. And it probably gets what it's deserved, which is 4 runs. No, it's not going to make it to the boundary, actually. Should be 3. And it is a comfortable 3. 106 for 1 after 18, 19 overs.
75. All right, it's 20 quid less than the 95 they were charging at Lord's last week, but it's still, it is still. Just go 50 quid in. I mean, that seems reasonable to me. You're going to get probably at least 3 hours of cricket, I'd have thought, and you're going to see a result. It's going to be exciting, possibly. I mean, that's decent value. And say it's 50 quid and it's kids in free. Do that. Well, except there's no point doing kids in free because they're back at school now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Matthew Cullen says, morning all. Rich Turner Music says, morning. I've been working for the last 3 days, so good to join you live for a change. And Jay explains, I'm reading an Islands 11, and Marla is very condescending to Sri Lanka. That doesn't surprise me in the least. He was a bit of a prick.
Well,
and he says, no, it was a slower ball that Harmison bowled where he fell over.
well, Kusel is on 38. He's facing up. Gus Atkinson comes in his third over the morning. Oh, it's gone straight up in the air. Is anyone out there? Is anyone out there? No, well, there is, but it dropped short of him. It was Bashir. And I'll get through for a single. Big top edge.
So, Grubby, would we have had that much animation if Bear hadn't been on unders?
No, not quite as much. I mean, he's gone up to 9 there. I think we'd have got him at a 6 if he'd not had any money on it.
Yeah.
It'll be annoying if they just sort of do this one down, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, that's the way to do it.
I mean, fair play
if
they do, but it will be annoying in terms of the potential excitement and, of course, the possibility of our copping a bet.
Yep, exactly that.
Which, of course, is very important.
Most important. Some would say. Atkinson in. Squares up a little bit, Nissanka, but they squeeze it out on the offside and there's a single. Well, I think England bowled pretty reasonably well this morning. Seems to be a little bit in the wicket for them and a little bit in the air. Squared up the batsman a fair few times. Just need to get one of these to nick off and get a little bit of adrenaline pumping, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's the sort of conditions you keep putting it in the right place. We'll probably see Ollie Stone as first change, won't we? And he's done all right, actually. He's often taken a wicket in his first or second over, isn't he?
He has
of a
indeed.
spell. So, and he's another hit the deck bowler primarily.
Yeah.
So it's just another challenge for these Sri Lankan batsmen to face.
Angelo Matthews and Dinesh Chandimal have a pretty indifferent series. I suppose Angelo scored a few runs. Now that's pulled and that is in the air, and that is absolutely fantastically caught by Shoaib Bashir. Kusal Mendes couldn't hold it back. It was a bit to his right this time. The bet is in. And,
well, not quite yet.
Well, my first one was an under.
Oh, yes, sorry.
115 and a half it was. Don't you worry. Kusal was slapped that straight down Bashir's. Well, not straight down Bashir's throat, actually. It was to his left, and he had to stretch. He's a tall man.
Yeah.
And he did catch it on the stretch, fell to the ground, but held on to it. England get their first wicket in the morning. Still over 100 runs required. This could get interesting. Couldn't help himself, could he? 2 men out for that. That's a
really terrific catch.
Yeah, it is a very good catch.
He's
on the run.
Yeah.
It's quite dark.
Wraps those enormous fingers around the ball.
Yep.
Brilliant.
And doesn't do as Mitchell Stark. Dump it in the ground and then can't understand why it wasn't given out.
Why is that not out, mate?
Because you fucking put it in the ground, you cunt.
Oh,
sorry.
Bit early for a C. Sorry,
Well,
Mum. My mum's
sorry.
listening, I'll have you know.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
Mrs.
Barbara.
Grubby.
She doesn't like being called Mrs. Grubby, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised about that. Barbara, same. Well, we've discussed the same name as my mum,
There we are.
who is no longer around, sadly. But hey,
I hope she's got better taste in alcohol than your mum, that's all.
yeah. Well, we still got the cupboard full of strange liqueurs.
I did once go round at Christmas time. Mum won't thank me for saying this, but I pulled out a bottle of Baileys, as you do at Christmas, and then realised the date on it was something like 2008. This is about 2018.
Stuff with alcohol doesn't really go off, does it? I know it's got cream and shit in it.
We didn't
Maybe
really find out.
Yeah.
We tossed it.
I think it's stretching your luck sometimes. Jay just says, hello, Barbara. And
thanks, Jay.
Leah says, well, there's no need to get that excited. They're going to lose this. They might as well lose it by 9 wickets. That was obviously before the wicket fell.
Thanks for that kibosh, Leah.
Yeah, and Warren says, morning all. Farong says, fun day greetings. Only hope for England is to bring on Duckett. The Bangladesh Rickshaw Drivers Union Chingford branch is extending an olive branch, so to speak, for any Sri Lankans in London. Free rickshaws to the Oval. Redemption code is up the English.
What? What, from Chingford? Jesus, you got a death wish, lads.
Farong's always stirring it up.
Well, Atkinson comes into the new batsman who just works that down into the deep. He'll get him single, and the new batsman is
Run into ball or he comes into bat. Angelo Matthews. Angelo Matthews.
That's a very good catch. Right, got to get under for the second and third wicket now, haven't I? What's that at?
Got to.
Got to follow it
I've
up.
got some advice for you from Mog too. It says, Jesus fucking Christ, Bear, calm the fuck down.
I'm excited. I hopped up on caffeine again this morning. Just defended out to the leg side and there's no run. Patton Nissanka.
I thought I might wake Mog up with my tremendous Australian accent again.
G'day, Mog.
Good day, Blue.
Yes.
Cobber.
131 and a half for the fall of the next wicket. So 22 and a half runs to play with this time.
No, that's 12 and a half.
131 and a half.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said 121.
I wouldn't go on 12. That's just played into the leg side. Thinks about a run, Nissanka. Angelo's not the quickest these days. And decides Vanna is about to pass a common sense or whatever the saying is, and there is no run. And that ends the over. 1 for 33 for Atkinson off his 7 overs. 109 for 2 are Sri Lanka. Matthews is new at the crease, just 1 off 1. Nissanka is 58 of 61 deliveries.
Brian in Brisbane's with us. He says, morning all, a bit late this morning because I was away watching the Airbus Beluga XL make its first landing at Heathrow.
Got to have a hobby, haven't
In
you?
my day, it would have been train spotting. Busy day here in birth registrations, trying to sort a mother who mistakenly identified the wrong father on the birth certificate.
Okay.
Oh dear. Well, easily done.
Easily done, yes.
The ramifications are huge.
Yeah, indeed.
It reminds me of that bit in Gavin and Stacey. It's not Dave's, it's not Legos, it's not the bloke from the key cutters.
Yeah. Wokes is in to bowl to Angelo Matthews. Oh, jeez, he doesn't like it there, does he? He really is fiddles when it's going away from him outside that line of off stump.
Nero fiddles while Gordon burns.
Well, got completely turned around there, just poking around. Doesn't really get forward, doesn't really get back. He just sort of stands on the crease.
Excellent delivery from
It
Wokes.
was a cracking delivery. Just in that corridor of uncertainty, angling in, straightened up.
What a nut to get first up.
Yeah. Well, if I was Wokes, I'd just be keeping it there, and eventually he will get a nick. Next ball is a little bit fuller and is defended by Angelo Matthews out to the covers, and there's no run. England's tails will be up now. Another one here. Still over 100 runs required. 3 down all of a sudden. If they can get Nissanka out.
It's a different game.
It is a different game, and then you'll wonder whether they'll tighten up.
Well, Nissanka's tightened up in terms of run scoring, so he was scoring, he had 50 odd off 40 odd, didn't he? He's now got 58 off 61, so he's just playing more circumspectly, certainly, than he was last night.
Wokes coming in to bowl Angelo Matthews. 3 slips, gully. That one, oh, Jesus Christ, poked out again and somehow didn't get an edge. And we've seen this a lot with Angelo throughout the series, to be fair, poking along outside off stump and somehow not getting a nick. Eventually he generally does. Can take 2 or 3 overs to actually induce the edge, but I don't think England worry about that. There's plenty of time.
I think they're doing some analysis to that effect. He spent much of the series being squared up with that right leg coming forward to face down the track alongside his front leg.
Comparing it to Root, which is probably a little bit unfair. That's just dropped into the leg side, offside. They've gone for the quick single. Better throw, might have run out Kusal, but clearly Matthews wants to get off strike, which doesn't bode well for him, does he? Nissanka legged it down the other end. Did he get hit by the ball as it came in? I don't know. Someone luzzed it at the stumps. They missed the stumps. He would have been probably out had it been a direct hit, but it was a bit wide. You have to dive.
You might want to let Forthy in, Ben.
Well, I might do if he was actually in the waiting room.
Oh.
I'm sure he'll turn up any second now. I'm not sure Nissanka didn't hurt himself as he dived there. But Nissanka will be the one that they can prize him out and get 2 new. Well, I suppose everyone's a new batsman at the crease, but he's got 58 runs to his name. And
Chandimal carrying a knock as well, because obviously he had to give up the gloves yesterday, didn't he?
Did he again? Well, I was surprised I suppose they got rid of...
they changed their keeper in all 3 test matches, apparently.
Well, Chandimal did keep, didn't he, at the end was it the first test? He was keeping in the first test.
Well, I didn't think you could do it because they brought on Madushka to...
well, Madushka kept in the second test.
No, but he's not in the 11. So
I know.
Weird, isn't it? I didn't think you were allowed to do that, but
I think
turns out you are.
I think you can do.
Yeah, you can now.
Wokes in, that's into the pads of Nissanka. He'll get himself a single out to square, and there's no run. Sorry, 1 run. We're looking at where Angelo Matthews' bats comes down, pretty much from gully, which is why he's getting squared up so much. Whereas Root, obviously, who is only 60 runs behind Alistair Cook now in the all-time Test run scoring, 5th on the overtook Kumar the other day.
Yeah. You look at those lists whenever they show the top run scorers in Test cricket, and you look at Kumar Sangakkara's average, 57.4 or something.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And he's still got the hair.
And he looks like, I don't know what he looks like, some international drug dealer right now.
Well, yeah.
He carries it off.
He looks magnificent,
Well,
yeah. Wokes
I was
in.
thinking of a stockbroker, but same diff.
Yeah, poked at by Matthews. This one's very wide, though. Through to the keeper, and there's no one. He survives. 2 off 6. 111 for 2 after 21
Matt
overs.
is with us. A bit discombobulated. He says, "Woof, morning primates. What the fuck happened yesterday? Lunch, then rain, then I got distracted talking philosophy. Woke up to this bullshit. Loving sausages." And Jay says, "Bear sounds like he's in Studio 54 toilets, Kirkus, 1978.
Well, you know.
That's the caffeine for you.
Yeah, it's the caffeine for you, yeah. Who is on next, actually?
It's the famous Chic song, Freak Out, was actually supposed to be called Fuck Off, wasn't it? To Studio 54 one night when they didn't let the band members in.
Oh, really? Atkinson is in on the back foot. Nissanka just plays it out to cover, and there is no run. This is the correct one. Oval, Sunday the 8th of September. No, I don't want that one. You're on Monday, mate. We're on Monday. Oh, maybe I put it there, didn't I?
I don't know what Bear's chuntering about, everyone, but a glimpse behind the curtain. Cool, it's cold there. The people up on that high balcony.
Show Tony a computer and he completely fucking loses his mind, I swear. Grubby
Even
40
when you're
there.
not together, you're like a fucking old married couple.
That one's flicked off the pads by Nissanka down at deep square leg. And there's no one. I always get him on a thing and I tell him, just do this. And he goes, "No, you can't do that." And then I just go, "That's how you do it, Tony." He goes, "Ah, yeah, okay." I hate that about people. I really do. That's something. Sorry, Tony, if you're listening. It's one thing that really annoys me. Is
Bear's like a bigamist now because he used to have that relationship with Hendo, and now I think he's,
well, I've still got that relationship with Hendo, but he's not here as much.
Hendo and Tony are Bear's techno wives.
Well, next Sunday, Bear's not going to be in. We've got a T20 where Andy and Hendo are going to be doing the tech, so it'll be interesting to see how we go.
Well, hopefully we'll have another computer, and I've always got the old team viewer. That was defended by Matthews. Out to the offside. There is no run.
And you'll be a steady hand on the tiller there, I'm sure.
Yeah. Gee, that wind seems to be getting up. The flags over
Yeah.
the blue, really stretching out.
Some brave, broad-chested soul in a Timberland sweater there with a pint. Good lad.
Yes. Right before lunch. Good lad. Angelo facing up. Atkinson in. Gets behind that, defends it, back down the track, and there's no run.
Pint before 11:30 on a Monday morning.
That's good going.
Hey, that's living all right.
Yeah, that's it. That's the way to go. It's worth pointing out that because of the state of the game, the GPL isn't open, but Super Chats are open, and Forthy is about to come up. He will have a bookcase behind him. If you want him to read a particular book, he's Super Chat us with a nomination of which book you want read, and he will do that. And then you can guess what it is.
Indeed you can. Atkinson in, 5th ball of the over. And Angelo Matthews plays it up to mid-on. There's no run. At least England aren't getting splattered around the park. They've got a level of control currently.
Wow. Matthew Cullen tells us Leicestershire are currently 11 for 6 against Yorkshire.
Ooh, holy shit.
Fucking hell.
Lowest score in the county championship ever. That must be on at 11 for 6. I imagine it's about 20 or something.
11 for 6, man.
It's frighteningly bad. Atkinson in. That's onto the pads. Clipped nicely by Angelo Matthews. Down towards deep long on. Don't think it's going to get there, but they should get back for 3.
What, with Angelo at the crease?
Update.
Oh, they do.
They do get back for 3. And I don't think that'll displease Wokes because he'll get another now go at Angelo Matthews.
Yes.
Right from the off. We're going to have a switcheroo.
Update, they're 16 for 7. Ben Coda's 4 for 4. There you go. I'll catch you later.
All right, cheers,
See
Messers.
you, Forthy.
Merci. Cheers.
Hello, Forthy. How are you?
Oh, is that the dulcet tones of the Grubmeister?
It
Hello there.
certainly is. Hello, if you can, or you can't see me. Hello.
First time in the series, maybe. I'm not sure.
I think we were on briefly previously, weren't we?
Maybe the first.
I know
yes.
it all merges, doesn't it, a little bit?
Isn't it just?
What do you make of it so far? You've been watching?
Yeah, I've been watching. Yeah, I mean it's proper Test cricket, isn't it?
Proper Test cricket.
Unlike the last 3 days.
Well, yeah, it's all been a bit slap happy from England. End of term.
But is it going to be too little, too late? That phrase that is another one that's a bit wrong, because usually it's exactly the right amount, but too late.
Yes,
Exactly correct. I'm sure we've had that discussion.
Sure we
before.
have.
What,
Matthews
too much, too late, or
facing
too
up
little.
to Wokes, and it's a full delivery on Midland leg. Can't get a run though, clipping it to mid wicket. 115 for 2, requiring another 104 here, Sri Lanka, for what will be a pretty good victory for them, given that England were 260 off for 3 in their first innings.
At one point, I think they lost the last. Yeah, no, they lost the last 6 wickets.
260 off for 3.
Yeah.
But anyway, either way, it was another pretty spectacular collapse. Well, in both innings, as it turns out. And only really Jamie Smith's swashbuckling 67 yesterday has given England a half competitive total. But here's Wokes bowling to Matthews. He's up on his toes defending this into the onside. There's no run.
Can you remember who Too Much, Too Little, Too Late was sung by?
Too much, too little, too late. No, not off the top of my head. No, who was it?
Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams.
Wow. What a great voice Johnny had. He was another that Mike Yarwood would impersonate and others would impersonate back in the 70s.
Mike Yarwood. God,
And this is me.
TV in the 70s.
It's been you all along, Mike. We know. Wokes bowls a ball that ducks in a bit at the last moment. Matthews lays a bat on it into the onside and they can come through for 1. So he does get off strike. Nissanka still there doing a great job for his team on 60 from now 64 deliveries. Just slowed up a little bit this morning after he racing away yesterday.
Simon Peck's party piece is to imitate all 4 Beatles just by very slightly adjusting where his tongue is.
That is good. That is good. That's a suitably nerdy kind of impersonation as well.
Totally.
He's a likeable nerd.
Big friends with TC, the big Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, were they in Mission Impossible together?
Yeah,
is that right?
so we thought Simon Pegg, yeah.
Yeah, he can be a bit pseudy sometimes. Peggy. As Nissanka faces his Wokes again, a good ball outside the off stump, but he stands tall and cuts this backward of square. Beautiful shot from Nissanka. And he gets 4 runs.
4 on the floor, and 1 more 4 than the 4 before. That's what 4's are for, to get funky on the dance floor.
Yeah, Simon Pegg did once describe, because he's often asked about Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End as 3 movies, and saying, should we consider it a trilogy? He says, not really a trilogy in the true sense, perhaps a tonal trilogy. And I thought, that's one of the most pretentious things I've ever heard.
I think he's a little bit of an alcoholic as well.
I was a little bit drunk. I didn't know that.
Wasn't drinkish.
Nissanka on 64 now, Wokes into the crease. Wide of the crease he comes this time, and a ball just short of the length, which Nissanka defends into the offside. And there is no run. 120 for 2. That target is now into double figures, 99 more required for Sri Lanka to end this tour on a high.
Yeah, it's that old Daniel Kahneman peak end theory. People do tend to remember the last test far more than all the others.
Yeah, I remember Phil Tufnell bowling England to victory at the Oval in 1997 against Australia, which is another one of those series we lost about 4-1.
Yeah.
That's the dead rubber syndrome.
Yeah.
That South African series in 2003 felt like we won because we surged back.
He drives wildly at this one, a fuller delivery. It's almost like a one-day delivery, wide of the off stump and almost Yorker length, and Matthews almost took the bait. Nissanka almost took the bait, trying to flail that through cover point. That's the end of the over.
Oh.
Yeah, that's that South Africa series you're talking about, Fourthie, which did it finish?
Yes.
Was it 2 each in the end?
2-2, yeah.
Yeah.
We were thumped 2-2. It was one of those.
Yeah, this is one where Smith seemed to score a double century in every game.
Oh God,
yes,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah. But then Thorpe got a big turn in the last one, and Trescothick, they got us over the line. Strange.
It was a big chase, wasn't it, as I recall?
There were lots of people who never played before or after in that series. Kabir Ali, James Kirtley, Martin Bicknell, Ed Smith, Anthony McGrath. Odd series.
Oh, wow.
Tony Bishop.
Atkinson starts a new over, and Matthews is forward in defence to mid-off. There's no run. Yes, fourthly.
Oh, I was just going to say, Tony Bishop says, never diss Tony, my Ursine friend.
Well, you know.
You're one of Bear's techno wives. That's what I'm saying. Tone, but you do a grand job for Guerrilla Cricket. Thankless task. Thankless. Yeah. Matthews got 6, Nissanka on 64, Sri Lanka 120 for 2, 99 more to win this test match at the Oval. Slightly open stance from Matthews, and he's forward in defence, playing that one very comfortably. A ball which is full and outside the off stump from Atkinson. It's maybe the last one in Atkinson's spell.
I think so.
And then bring Josh Stone on. Might keep Wokes on for a couple more.
Josh Stone, Ollie Stone, and Josh.
What was I saying? Sorry, oh God, I'm losing it. Ollie Stone.
Ricky there, all dressed in black. The man in black.
Ricky Ponting.
Yep.
There he is as well. He's not even a Melburnian. He's from Launceston. We all dress in black in Melbourne.
Pointless ball down the arse of Matthews. Has nothing to do with it. Smith takes it going away to his left.
My apologies. I'm a little asynchronous because I'm half a ball out. So sometimes I try to
no problem.
walk over.
That's quite all right.
That's fine. Don't you worry.
Well, it wasn't fun for Hendo. He insisted I did ball by ball. I was wrenched off ball by ball yesterday, and I
you hooked off? Oh no!
That is a massive bugbear of Hendo's. He just
clearly
can't get used to the fact that you just have to wait a little bit longer. Although
Atkinson tries to tempt Matthews with a fuller and wider one outside the off stump. Matthews leaves it alone.
As we found out.
Fair enough.
As we found out the other day, I kept prompting what was going to happen.
That was funny. That was funny. Little orgasmic grunts from Sydenham.
Oh dear. That's not nice when you're sitting next to it, I tell you. I'd rather not have a Bear orgasmic grunt.
Yeah, well,
either down the line or live. It's never a good moment for that to happen. Matthews raises his bat in readiness, slightly open stance, tucks the ball towards square leg, but it's fielded by the man at short leg, who I think is Dan Lawrence, has been for most of this test match. He played a strange innings yesterday. He's obviously been told, just go out there, play, be aggressive. Either got told that and or decided to do it himself.
Yeah.
On a hiding to nothing, really, isn't he? Dan
totally.
Lawrence. I do feel a bit sorry for him.
Well, he's there as a batting replacement for a middle order, really, isn't he? He's just got shoved up to be the opener, and it doesn't really suit him at all.
He's got 3 scores of 30 plus in this series, though, which will be frustrating for him. Another ball that he fields as it's turned off his toes by Matthews. Completes another over and scores another maiden. 120 for 2. It stays. What you got, Fourthy?
I've got Mr. Rollite.
Oh yeah.
Possibly how it's meant to be said. It says, what was yesterday's book, Top Shelf, 10th from right, page 71? It turned out to be Notes of a Dirty Old Man by Charles Bukowski, Mr. Rollite. Nicholas Agare says, what is proper test cricket? Good philosophical question, which we may come on to. Jay Grover, damn it, I thought my red suit and the blue Oxford shirt would look all reet. I resemble a degenerate Papa Smurf in his misspent youth.
Oh, we do have a change in the
photo,
bowling.
please.
It's going to be... repurposed.
A Reaper with we're all about doing the right thing by the environment here, and that is a repurposed, recycled jingle. So it is Ollie Stone who's going to come on to bowl. He's got 3 slips and a gully. The short leg is not in place, which surprises me, given that he's a bit of a hit-the-deck bowler. And he comes now for his first delivery. It is short, and it is pulled by Nissanka to deep backward square, where the man carrying the injury, Gus Atkinson, does the fielding, but cannot prevent them coming back for 2.
Good running.
Yeah, well, Nissanka knew he'd be running to the danger end, so lumbering Angelo could just make his own sweet way back up to the non-striker's end with no fear of being run out. Also,
What's the price
yeah.
today? Are they reduced?
Say again, Forthy.
Are prices reduced for entry?
Well, we figured out no, 75 quid.
75 quid seems a bit toppy.
5 quid?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
It's not quite the 95 from Lords last week, but it's still not great.
Yeah,
Make it a bullseye, lads. A bullseye.
tops at a bullseye, is that? You know, even probably less than that, 35, 40 quid.
Stone in again, a straight delivery, aiming for the top of off. Not a bad thing to do, and defended stoutly by Nissanka back up the track. He's moved to 66.
Maybe they got scared off by all that talk of dynamic pricing from the Oasis fiasco.
Yeah, he was still going to make shed loads of money and adding tour dates left, right, and centre.
Yeah. I've got an idea. Just don't get Oasis tickets.
Yeah, well, I certainly aren't.
Go and see a local band in a local pub. For
Yes,
local people.
exactly. Stone in once more. He's all arms and legs as he tries to fire one in, a fuller delivery. I think he was looking for the Yorker there, but Nissanka manages to turn it around the corner off the front foot and gets a single, and Stone thinks he nearly got through there. 123 for 2 is the score. 96 more to win for Sri Lanka. It's been a good test match one way or another. I know we might complain about England's shortcomings at various moments, but credit to South Africa. They've bowled well
South
in,
Africa?
in...
Sri Lanka, you mean?
Did I say South Africa?
You did say
I'm going
South
fucking
Africa.
mental.
You are.
What's wrong with me? Credit to Sri Lanka.
You did say South Korea, that's something.
Yeah, we were talking about South Africa recently, weren't we? That's probably it.
Yes.
We were, yeah. No, it's been an entertaining test match. I think that's undeniable.
Yeah. Stone bowls a full delivery on the off stump of Angelo Matthews, who's forward in defence, playing it up to mid-off. There's no run.
Good probing stuff here from Ollie Stone to
Yeah,
start his spell.
Yeah, he's tried a couple of things. He's tried to go a bit fuller than what his normal, natural modal length would be. And he thinks he might have had a couple of near things by doing that. I would say to all the bowlers, just try your stock ball, bowl your best ball,
Yep.
see how that goes before getting too funky too early. Here comes Stone. He does go shorter this time, but too short, and Matthews is able to duck under that quite comfortably.
Yeah, don't want to be giving wides away. What are we looking at here?
We're looking at some sort of graphic with some sort of Trivial Pursuit wedge type thing in one quadrant.
8% of Andrew Matthews' runs scored down towards mid-on.
Yeah, there you go.
44% behind square on the leg side. So don't bowl into his hip would be the idea there, I guess.
Don't say you never learn anything on this show.
Mm.
Stone, excellent delivery outside the off stump, has Matthews groping forward for that and playing and missing. Does that complete the over? Yeah, it does complete the over. 3 runs came from it. The score is 123 for 2.
And Angelo's
Well,
asking something off the field.
Leah says those 3 films are commonly known as the Cornetto trilogy, Grubby.
Indeed, they are. But the man who made them doesn't consider them to be a trilogy other than a tonal trilogy, if you will.
Yeah.
There we are. D. Handjob says, and he should know, says it's Launceston 4th fucking Philistines. Look at my face, is there egg on it? And he adds, also Simon Pegg's biography is called Nerds Do Well. Didn't know that.
As in like ne'er-do-well, but nerd-do-well.
Yes, but Nerd Do Well's nice, isn't it?
This is one of those ones that's quite good, but doesn't quite work as smoothly as it might.
Yes. There are better ones. Romana Thinagaraja says, Romana from New Zealand, do you know that once the England batting was in alphabetic order? No, when was the England batting in alphabetic order?
Ooh, I like that. Go on. So there's an instance in a test match where England's batting order was in alphabetical order. Is that what?
Slightly enigmatically, Romana hasn't enlarged on the point. I don't know whether she'd like it to be or whether it once was.
Romana, you also share a name with my favourite pizza base. Anyway, we're having another change of bowling here. It's going to be a tall, gangly debutant who possibly dropped this game.
This
Dropping
man.
an absolute
The
dolly.
sky is really fucking tall. It's time to hand your shoulder ball.
Left arm over the wicket, and he starts with a very good delivery, going across Nissanka and threatening to come in, and that's the ball he needs to bowl.
Yep.
Defended, no run. If he can get it going, as Vishwa Fernando did yesterday, he did look unplayable, I thought, in that little spell that he bowled. And it was bright sunshine. It was probably the best weather of the whole Test match, but for whatever reason, he got that ball going, Vishwa Fernando, and took those two crucial wickets of Root and Brook, both LBW, I think, weren't they?
Yeah.
Both absolutely plumb, both reviewed, both were triggered on their way, quite rightly.
Heavily strapped thigh. Josh
3
Arthur.
slips. I don't think the gully's gone now. Oh, this is misdirected down the arse, and Nissanka sort of flirts with it, but doesn't get near it. But yeah, that's the line. That first delivery where he's pushing it across the right-hander from his
come back.
and then get it to come back late. That is a very challenging shape for any batter to face. If you can get that going. He's been expensive, Hull. I think Nissanka took a bit of a liking to him yesterday evening. He's going at about 7 and over, 23 runs from his 3 and a bit overs.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? He is pretty raw, and
you can't blame him for that.
Couple of good balls and then bowls one short and wide, which gets the treatment.
Yeah, you've got very little experience in the first-class game. You're thrust into this, and you're told by the management, go and take us some wickets. So if you get clattered around the ground a bit, it's not that surprising. This ball he's able to steer to backward point. Is Nissanka, he comes through for one more. 95 required now. That total just creeping down as far as Sri Lanka are concerned. All the time in the world, of course. Well, not all of it, but 2 days if they want it. It's not going to happen though, is it? Unless weather intervenes.
Unless weather intervenes, and it's light enough for them to bowl the seamers, which is good for England.
Yeah, no, it makes it proper, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think England would make that mistake. For all of the kind of bullish chat where they said, no, we never had a moment's thought about going off. We're talking the period on Saturday. Yeah, well, you bloody well should have done. And if it happened again today, I'd expect you to do. Here comes Josh Hull. Good again, just outside the off stump, just threatening to come back into Angelo Matthews. He defends it quite tentatively to cover point, and there's no run.
He looked a bit unsure about that one, didn't he? Sort of got forward, thought about driving, and then sort of patted it a bit.
And whether he's facing a right arm over or a left arm over bowler, when you bowl there to Angelo Matthews, he always looks like he's going to get out any moment. And for a man who averages 40 something in Test cricket, and a man who's gone up the order over his Test career, he's now bats at 4, of course. That's A, he's done well to have that average, and B, England must be doing something right to make him look that
unsure,
that poor. Yeah. A fuller delivery, which is whipped from just outside the off stump to wide mid on, and there's no run.
Now, if there's any grunting you can hear, it's not me, it's Toby the Cocker Spaniel.
I don't have any grunting in my cans. Bear, do you?
No, I haven't heard any.
It's good to hear. It's rather unpleasant.
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple of.
Is he a slobberer, your dog?
Very much so.
Really?
Yeah, he's got a lot of, and that's one of them.
We have 2 of these.
Super chat! A super chat from a huge YouTube hero. They're awesome and smart and they're playing their part. Super chat, super chat, super chat.
A defensive shot outside the off stump by Angelo Matthews, which completes that over. Remains 124 for 2. Who are the super chatters?
Well, number 1 is from Sagir, who says, will Sri Lanka win today?
Thanks,
or will England
Sagir.
prevail? $5 well spent. Thank you, Sagir.
Thank you very much.
And much appreciated. Messi has asked for a book from the bottom shelf around the middle. I've located it, and I shall read a short passage. I don't think this will prove too difficult for anyone. I suspect you'll get it in the studio. Here we go.
What does it
For
say?
once in a way,
Go on.
there was nothing which the 9th Earl of Emsworth was trying to conceal from his sister Constance. Are they playing again? They are.
Yeah, no, not yet. Now, I've never read any of these, but is that a Jeeves and Worcester book?
Well, it's that author, yes.
P.G. Woodhouse, okay. I must read some of him. I've never read any Woodhouse, and he's supposed to be ace.
Absolutely is, Grubby. You will not regret it. It doesn't really matter which one you pick.
Okay.
They're all brilliant.
Ollie Stone starting a new over, and Nissanka forward covering up very expertly in defence, playing it up to mid-on. And there is no run.
This one was from Uncle Fred in the Springtime, which is a Lord Emsworth novel, which they're not really novels. They're just fun things.
Do you want to pick one from the shelf above? I feel I'd rather spoiled that game for everyone by leaping in as I did. So, sorry, everyone. Can't help myself.
That one sort of wobbled in a little bit, didn't
Yeah.
it?
Back of a length, and he's up on his toes. Plays this to wide extra cover this time, and they take another single. So Matthews on strike here. I wonder what Stone will do for Matthews. I mean, probing just outside the off stump is what I would do.
Exactly that. Length on off.
Yeah.
And around about.
Top of off, just outside.
Still got 3 slips and
Three
a gully.
slips and a gully, yeah.
Which is, I guess, the way to play it. You haven't got many runs to play with, any chance.
Are you surprised he doesn't have a short leg? We've had the short leg in there for other bowlers this morning, and I'd have thought Ollie Stone is one that you definitely want one in there for.
Quite possibly, but they've dispensed with that strategy. Kind of an in-out field, isn't it? Got to catch them on the infield and not give too many runs away in the deep.
Still on 6, Angelo Matthews, and gets the ball on middle and leg, which he's able to turn around the corner quite comfortably. Slight misdirection that from Stone. He'd have wanted to be much more towards the off stump or just outside, but he does eventually get his 7th run of the innings, Angelo. 126 for 2, 93 more required.
Yep. Floating along quite nicely. I've only got, 131 and a half, got 5 runs to play with.
Well, as you said 10 or 15 minutes ago, they're not running away with it.
No.
So England could be happy enough just to be containing, even if not taking wickets. If Nissanka gets going again, it could be over in a hurry. As he tucks this one into the leg side this time and takes another single. And the background noise cuts out.
Romana has clarified for us by saying 1 Amos, 2 Boycott, 3 Cowdrey, 4 Durness, 5 Edrich, 6 Gregg, 7 Knott, 8 Snow, 9 Underwood, and then she's got 2 question marks against 10 and 11.
God, who would it be? V.W. Willis? Would Willis have been in that?
Well, it could have been Willis. It could have, I thought Jeff Arnold is most likely to be the other.
Oh no, but then
that would screw up.
That scuppers
everything else.
Willis and oh god.
Oh, Ward, possibly Ward and then Willis. That would be perfect.
Amazing.
If it was. Alan Ward did have a few tests.
Matthews tucks this one through square leg. He's going to get a couple here. Again, just too straight from Ollie Stone. You know where Angelo's weakness in his game is, so you've got to try and exploit that, and he's not doing that so far this over.
Wow.
Although I'm a bit suspicious of Edrich coming in at 5. He was an opener. But I suppose maybe he was put down. Amos and Boycott were also openers, I suppose.
It's quite a good fun game to play, though, is an alphabetical order 11 like that.
It is, yeah.
Sort of thing I do when I'm nodding off at night.
Well, this would be the highest successful chase by an Asian side in England.
Okay.
Full delivery, driven out by Matthews with no timing. It fetches up at mid-on and there's no run. That's the end of that over. Is that 129 for 2, is it?
Yep.
Yeah. 90 more required. Fourthy, what else you got?
We have got a bit of band talk, which I'm delighted by. Muttley says 100% local bands in local venues. So many small bands out there. I've seen a couple of excellent ones. Snowy Band and Nice Biscuit recently.
Ooh.
And he adds Melbourne's finest, Tropical Fuckstorm, at Stereo in Glasgow at £16.50 a pop. Far better than Oasis tickets any price. I can absolutely recommend Tropical Fuckstorm. They are brilliant live. I can particularly recommend You Let My Tyres Down as a starter track.
Oh,
Absolutely.
tremendous.
Great name for a band.
I'm going to see 2 bands in November, which I'm very excited about. One is Fat Dog.
Oh, yes.
Count their Fat Dog, they are tremendous. And then, having watched the film the other day, I'm going to watch Kneecap in Brighton, also in November. Which is part of the Mutations Festival with loads of other artists as well. Anyway, Josh Hull starts a new over to Nissanka, who is forward very correctly in defence and plays it to extra cover. There's no run.
Not a lot of pace. I thought Hull was in this to be quick, as well as left
not
arm.
very quick.
It's amazing how quickly these quick bowlers get tired as well.
Yeah, isn't it?
Again, you might say, well, they don't play enough cricket, but that's a different thing. And I should give a big shout out to our friend James Hillhouse, who's on later on. He's either making his way over or he'll be dialing in, I suspect more likely. But James is the one who put me, and indeed Fourthy, I think, onto the Kneecap film, and it did not disappoint.
There's a lot of great new Irish bands out there these days.
Hull bowls on the leg stump of Nissanka, finds a little gap there towards mid-wicket. That would have been very close. Who was that running in doing the fielding?
I think that's a sub-fielder because...
Yes, indeed it is. Matthews it was who was in peril, as it turned out, at the non-striker's end. And that would have been very close if that had hit. But it didn't. So 2 runs to the total.
He'd have been a long way out.
Yeah, really great game awareness there. He knew which end he was most likely to get a result. He was actually quite away from the stumps, but had it hit, I think it would have been just about gone.
Oh God, if it had been on target, it'd have been a yard short.
So good thought from the young lad there, whoever it is, on for England. Oh yes, and you know what they're talking about. It's Ponting and Atherton in the commentary box, up on his toes and steering this backward of point. But there is a man. It's Shoaib Bashir down there on the deep backward point boundary. So just
a very good
one.
Post from Colin Rosenthal, who says, "Hi all, joining you for the exciting finish of this match from the excitement of my workplace today.
Okay.
Excitement because we're having a round of layoffs. Apparently, if I don't get an email by 2 p.m. European time, I'm not out."
Oh, they're horrible those days, aren't they, in any working environment? I'm sure many of us have been through days like that. All right, thoughts and prayers, Colin. I hope you get the result you want. Of course, it might be. It might be to leave.
Whatever the result you might want. I mean, it could be either way.
That's what I'm saying,
you know.
yeah. I shouldn't presume. I don't know Colin, although I'm sure... Well, he listens to Gorilla, so he must be all right by me, and welcome to marry my sister anytime. You should hear the noise she makes when she eats a boiled egg. Angelo Matthews has 9. Josh Hull bowls to him, and he's able once again to turn this into the leg side. 2 straight again, Josh. Josh and Ollie both bowling 2 straight to him. Matthews goes to double figures. Just seeing a replay of that near run out in the previous over. It'd be nice to get a name for that sub-fielder. I think he's been on earlier in the game as well, hasn't he?
He's a big lad. Looks strong.
If slightly wayward with the throw. It was a good idea, but not well executed, I'm
I wish
afraid.
they just put their name up on the screen.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too difficult, would it?
No. Maybe it's for people like us, so we can't really identify them.
It's just a scupper us. Hull bowling to Nissanka, just on off stump here from over the wicket, and the right-handed Nissanka is forward, as he's done a few times this morning, correctly defending that into the offside. No run. 86 more, just creeping down that. Total England badly need a wicket, badly need a couple probably.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Still not done yet, is it? It's still not done, but of course Sri Lanka's still in the driving seat.
They need really 3 quick wickets, I'd have thought. They need, if it's only 50 with 4 or 5 left, and we've got a big game on. I mean, this is it. We've got to get past Kamindu, haven't we, really, before...
Yeah, one thing at a time. Hull, determined look on his face, into the crease now. Shorter delivery, it's cut away by Nissanka. That's timed really well, and even the diving Shoaib Bashir can't do anything about that. It's the first boundary for a while. An excellent shot from Nissanka. 82 now. Yes, 40.
Do you want to change things up?
Oh yeah, it's about that time, isn't it? Is it the end of the over? Or
well, at the end of the over, yes. Was that the end of the over? It is indeed. Ditch is going to come in. 40, you're going to take over ball by ball. And Messers is going to appear on your screens as well. And Ditch,
Yes.
Oh, my mum would like to know, by the way. So Barbara says, hello all, enjoying your Gorilla chat. Despite the C word, she doesn't say. Has anyone mentioned Freddie Flintoff, my new TV cricket hero? So Mum's been enjoying the Flintoff. I've not seen it yet, but apparently he's very good. Thanks for listening, Mum.
I've read a couple of articles about it. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely watch it at some point. Right, I shall leave you and perhaps see you later on, depending on how this game goes. It's been a joy to be here. All right, see you later.
I'm going to leave you to you guys.
Thanks very much, Bear. Thanks very much, Grubby. Welcome, Messers. There's just above your own super chat. There's a couple from Leah and Kieran I hadn't got round to reading for you. Okay. FYI, Messi.
Thank you.
And meanwhile, yes, England have taken a wicket in the first hour. That's probably not enough, as the previous commentary team suggested. They probably needed to take 3 in the first hour, not 1. So they only need 82 more to win. Sri Lanka, they're on course. They're 137 for 2. Nissanka's going very well, 77 off 81. Angelo Matthews is 10 off 29. A warning to the curious that I will be a half a ball behind. I hope that doesn't inconvenience too much. If you want to give a little orgasmic grunt, half a ball before makes things quite exciting in some ways.
I haven't heard Ditch doing any orgasmic grunts yet, but welcome, Ditch.
Good morning. Good
Ditch.
morning.
I'm
here now. It's my first time back on jingles since my return. So
oh no, you did some yesterday. You were
not jingles. I haven't done
good.
jingles before.
Oh,
no, really?
Oh no, actually no. No, you're quite right. It wasn't yesterday. The day before, I think I did do a couple.
Yeah.
You're
Of course,
quite
you can
right.
Very
operate
smoothly.
you can operate an ATM. You can operate the jingle machine. I know there's not too much.
Yeah,
too
there's
much
quite a
more.
lot of new jingles. I don't even know who they are, where they are and stuff. But actually, it hasn't changed that much.
Meanwhile, Shoaib Bashir is into the attack this morning. He had some success last night, not materially as it were, but he got a bit of turn and a bit of bounce. So let's see what he can do this morning. He'll be bowling to Matthews, who's 10 off 29.
He's about to come in, I think. So we'll do his jingle after the first ball.
Yeah.
I think perhaps.
Well, after the first ball, whenever that might be. I mean, it happens at different times in the world. What is time after all? That's a straight. It hasn't been bowled in Melbourne yet. It's probably been bowled in Sydney. I mean, it's probably been bowled 3 balls ago at the Oval.
And it'll be bowled in Perth after it's bowled in Melbourne. So
Right,
that's
there we are.
interesting.
Just time is asynchronous. Anyway, here comes Bashir in Melbourne. He's over the wickets and on the dot straight away, but just squeezed out on the offside. There's no short fielders there, so that's going to be a run every time, I'd have thought. I'm not sure that's the best policy. I bring that man in a little closer, perhaps.
I'll try and slip his jingle in now.
Great.
Likes to attack. Now in an England cap.
That's his jingle. And Bashir in again. Puts quite a lot of revs on that one, doesn't turn a great deal. So I'm not sure that he's going to be the saviour. Just knocked down to Dan Lawrence, who's at short leg.
The good thing about
He'll definitely be aiming for the foot marks, though, won't he? If he
Yeah.
gets in the foot marks, is when it turned a lot last night.
the good thing about you being almost literally a ball behind is that I can queue up the next jingle because I know what's
Right.
happening.
So that's pulled by Nissanka for Ditch. One of these.
Oh, the good old double jingle.
Yeah, I like a double jingle.
Very, very nice. That was a really good shot, actually, from our man who's looking very secure out there. Nissanka moves to 81 off 83, almost a run a ball. It's been a very... People who have got in this test match, haven't been that many of them, have gone more or less a run a ball typically. Dab down on the offside, and that's a run a ball every time you dab it on the offside at the moment. Little Ben Duckett's 2-5s. If it was a one-day match, he'd be on the ring, and he's not stopping a single there, so I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is behind that. Matthews on strike. The veteran, seen it all before, Matthews. He scored a magnificent century against England many, many years ago when he first burst onto the scene to win a test match for Sri Lanka. What was that, 2011?
One, I think. Oh, what? 11? Oh, you in Sri Lanka, you mean?
That's, no, in England. That's just pushed the man at short leg, who's Lawrence.
One.
Jamie Smith grimacing behind the stumps. People were eulogising about the strength of his hitting yesterday. And, it augurs well. Oh, and that's swept off his front foot. There's no man out there at deep square leg, although but he's not in the right.
It's brilliant, this. I'm all lined up.
You're enjoying yourself.
All lined up just as as you're commentating to know exactly what's going to happen.
Is that the end of the over? I can't quite tell.
Yeah, I think it might be.
In which
Yes, it
case,
is. Okay. I just wanted to say in relation to Colin Rosenthal, it's a particularly cruel employer who says, we're laying off people today, but you're going to have to sit around. We're going to send our emails out over a period of time, make you wait till 2 o'clock. See no reason why they can't send them all out at once. That's a torture. Leah says, it was in the 81 Ashes, one of the later tests with really opening with boycott, where they were in alphabetical orders. Kieran says, I'm actually quite happy with Sri Lanka having done some damage. England are an average side, really, with one great player who'll find a way to mix up some matches against the big teams. Mr. Rolat says, just Google England bat in alphabetical order and got Alcatho, Barbastel, Bechstein, Brand. I thought I'd never heard of any of those. Then it went on Brown, long-eared bat, common pipe straw. I think you've gone on the birds rather than the tests.
Oh, okay. In comes Ollie Stone again. First ball of his over, and there's a loose shot from Nissanka. Just left him off the pitch, and that was a play and a miss for sure.
I think it's one of these.
He's rediscovering all those jingles that he loves so much.
Indeed. We might be a bit in for a jingle fest here if we're not careful.
It's like a summarizer in a sweet shop. If you could imagine such a thing. Stone in again for his second ball of the over. A moral victory on the first ball. Dare we say it. Then the Nissanka's cut that very nicely down to man sweeping up, who's the ubiquitous Bashir on the boundary. They come back for 2. Nissanka moves on to 84, and with 70 to win, we're now straying into territory beyond which England really would have to sort of give up any hope of securing this test match.
Yeah, we need a hat-trick here, don't we?
Yes, it's always a good time for that.
England are now 25-1 if you want to nibble.
Don't think that's going to happen, because the thing is, there's no particular demons in the pitch. If the pitch was ragging all over the place and Shane Warner's bowling, yes, maybe. In comes Stone again.
You'd want 100 to 1.
Flicked off his hips down to deep square leg for a single, and that's Atkinson doing the fielding. You enjoyed this test match, Ditch?
Yeah, well, no, not really. I enjoyed the first 2 sessions. They were quite good for England. There's some excellent batting from Duckett, and then after that it all went a bit downhill, didn't it? Well, I mean, there was a very good innings from Pope, of course, but I mean, I made the point on the first day that the second day when I came in that they were dominating that. They completely dominated that innings. They scored way faster than anyone else in the side. You know, it was like watching 2 sets of 2 different teams almost. Those 2 and everybody else, you know. But maybe that's why we did so badly in the second innings, because maybe the pitch isn't quite as good as we think.
Yeah, maybe. Stone in again. That's right on middle stump. Defended. Big forward defensive from Nissanka. Yeah, look, honestly, I would be, and I will be, I think, perfectly happy for Sri Lanka to win 1 out of these 3 tests. I think they deserve it. They've turned up. They've competed strongly. They've got some good talent. They've played well in patches, and they've had one bad session here and there, which has been enough at test match level to let them down.
At some point in every test, they've been in the contest.
Yeah, they have. They're right in this one. That's for sure. They're going to win it. That's very nicely played. He's a very orthodox player, Nissanka, amidst all the talk of innovations and so forth. He's a very organised cricketer, not the flashiest, but he's still moved to 86 off 89.
Yeah, he'd fit very nicely into the England side, wouldn't he? As a Bazball player, 86 off 89.
He would, but not with pretty well risk-free, almost. The odd flail, sure, but that sort of comes with the territory if you move along at a runner ball.
Yeah, just showing England how to play Bazball. he's going to get
balls thrust back into their face, and that closes the face of the bat, plays that one down to long leg. It's fielded, I think, by Josh Hull down there. He did have to get a bat on that one. That's why Ollie Stone's got his hands on his head at the end of the over. And that may be drinks.
It is drinks.
England, Sri Lanka, 152-4-2 with Nissanka on 87, Matthews on 50.
Oh, that's good, because we've got a few messages to catch up on. Brown in Brisbane says Northamptonshire's crap season still going, now 47 for 4 against Derbyshire. Jamar the Statsman says, what will England do next series? Next series is in Pakistan. It starts in about 4 weeks' time. It will be very interesting to see how that goes. Sagir Parker says, greetings all, domestic duties call, so can't chat. We'll join you all later. Have a nice session until then. And Brown in Brisbane says, how about the Flanapanis from Brisbane's? Songs such as I'm drunk, so what, fuck off, or my period is late. Sounds exciting. Jamal the Statsman says, will we see Jamie Smith and Folks in? I suspect Folks will be taken to Pakistan. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I kind of hope not, because it never works when Folks goes abroad.
Well, he works, but the team doesn't. Yes. NFCC Wow says, wow, I wasn't counting on anyone being familiar with TFS. Respect Gorillas. Loving Fat Dog recently too. That means nothing to me, but I presume it does to you, Forthy.
Big new band, Fat Dog. Get on board, Messi. But you, I happen to know, are now an indie kid.
Well, I have learned a lot by listening to your wonderful podcast, Sombrero Fallout, Forthy, I have to say. Jay Grover's back. Have I missed a Forthy reading? You have. He did some very nice PG Woodhouse for us.
Oh, yes. I was going to make a comment about PG Woodhouse, but I'll wait just a moment. Oh, no, I won't. Sorry, I thought that was the next ball, but actually it's just highlights here. Yeah, PG Woodhouse. I have a couple of connections with PG Woodhouse. Yes.
On the family tree.
Can anybody guess what they are?
Something to do with the family tree.
Well, one of them is to do with the family tree, yes, absolutely. He is my cousin. Reasonably remote, but not that remote.
Yeah.
And what's the other one?
Also went to...
Hang on, I'm going to guess. Did you both go to Dulwich College?
Indeed, we did. Yes. You could pretty much guess that if it's to do with Gorilla and education, it was something to do with Dulwich College.
Well, both of my nephews went to Dulwich as well, so.
Messi's nephews, Ditch, PG Woodhouse, and Ernest Shackleton.
Yeah.
And Trevor fucking Bailey.
Yeah, and Raymond Chandler. He's another one.
Oh, that's a good one.
And Nigel Farage.
Yeah, we don't mention him. We don't mention him.
So, how wide is the Irish Channel, says Lockie 6, because that's how far away Australia is. Popey Bumfinger says, really rudeness cricket the last couple of days, like the root here at its worst. Disappointing. Yeah. Leah says, sorry, yes, that's unnecessary. Hattie the Baddie says, sad it's coming to an end, hoping it could be more exciting finish. When will GC be back? We will be back on Wednesday for the first of 8 white ball matches between England and Australia. T20 for the first 3 and then ODIs for the next 5. And then straight after that to Pakistan for the Test Series. So we don't get a break at all.
We got a little bit more time to go yet. Wokes is doing up his shoelaces here, and we've got a 30-second delay anyway, so we can carry on waffling for a bit.
Jay Grover says, I have no difficulty imagining Ditch in the sweet shop. Pokey Bumfinger says, Payne's Poppets, nostalgic treat or a crime against chocolate?
Oh, I like Payne's Poppets. You got mint ones. You got they're really nice. And they came in that little tiny little cardboard box.
Made in Croydon.
Were they made in Croydon?
The Poppets factory used to be in Croydon. Don't think it's there anymore, but it used to be in Croydon.
Same as Kate Moss. She was made in Croydon as well.
Yeah. Richard Peel wonders if we'll have a result before his kids start coming into the classroom in about an hour. I don't think so, but it's possible.
Yeah, I think Joe Root's just switched the bales over humorously, Stuart Broad style. It's been traditional in the Oval Test for someone to change the bales over. Chris Wokes has come into the attack. He's doing some stretching. We'll forgive him as ever for being a Villa supporter. Put that to one side for now. Now then, 3 slips and a conventional mid-on, mid-off, mid-wicket and cover. Very conventional field. In comes Wokes, slightly wide on the crease. And a beautifully textbook forward defensive from Nissanka. There is something just as entertaining about watching a perfectly executed forward defensive, don't you think, Ditch?
I do. And Nissanka batting at the moment rather as though he was an Australian because he's on 87, so he doesn't want to get out on that unlucky number. Not being silly at the moment.
I don't think it affects Sri Lankans the way it infects Australians in quite the same way. I don't know whether Sri Lankans have an unlucky number.
No, I don't think it's going to be unlucky for him either. I predict it won't be unlucky for him.
What could happen off this ball? Wokes is coming into... Will it be a dot ball? No, it's not. It's turned round the corner. They've got off the 87. Nissanka has at least. He moves on to 88. Plays it down to long leg. Very nice.
Very good.
Just having a look at Wokes' figures. Pretty good series, actually. 1-0, 4-2, 3-1, 3-3, 2-2 at Lords, and then 2 in the first innings here and 1 in the second. That's a perfectly reasonable return from your third seamer.
I think there might be a Wokes and Pope are having a chat here to decide on some slight change of tactics. Not quite sure what it is. There's a short leg in now. I don't know if he was there before.
Is Wokes really the third seamer, though, given that he opens the bowling now?
I suppose that's true. I will get Ditch's opinion about Pope's captaincy after this ball, I think.
Well, I'm not sure Pope will want my opinion of his captaincy.
I think he's going to get it anyway. Wokes
including DRS calls.
To Matthews, yes. Well, none out of 10 probably tells its own story there. Wokes in. Defended to mid-wicket. What do you reckon?
Yes, so I personally, I would say it's actually none out of 11 because he also didn't review one where it was out. So, which doesn't get counted in the 10 out of 10. So he's actually even worse. Not only did he fail 10 times when he was trying to get the umpire to change his mind, he also failed when he should have reviewed.
Definitely one aspect of captaincy, and maybe it's symbolic, maybe it's not, but there are other aspects. We'll get back to that after this ball, perhaps, as to whether he's had a reasonable Sri Lankan series, his debut series, with the captain's armband on. They don't really have an armband, cricketers. In comes Wokes again. And that's a bit of a nothing ball, which Jamie Smith, that goes down the leg side. Jamie Smith can't gather in, and it's gone for 4 byes.
Yeah, it just trickled into... Oh, actually, I'm a bit unlucky. Smith actually did get a hand on it.
Yeah, the same way that England, any hopes of an England victory have now trickled away, you would say, pretty well.
Yeah, pretty much. As to the aforementioned captain's captaincy, well, I've thought at times he looks like a startled rabbit. And he's not quite sure what he's doing, and he keeps asking people, well, what do you think I should do, and should I do this or should I do that? So, yeah, I don't have a great opinion of his captaincy, I have to say.
It's like his moustache. It's not either one thing or the other, isn't it?
Yes.
He hasn't... I mean, everyone's been quite polite about him, and they've won the series 2-1, but it's not been the... Thank you for your audition. I'm not sure you've passed.
Yeah.
In comes Wokes. They'll probably go straight to Harry Brook, one would think, who just deflects it off his leg. Did he play a shot? We were about to find out.
Yeah,
gone to the boundary.
It's been given like he didn't, but it's been given, and it's one of these.
Now my innings going, great guns. I hit the ball, 4 runs. I hit the ball, and it went for 4 runs.
Well, he hit it with his foot anyway.
Hit it with the full face of his bat, so I got that one completely wrong.
No, he was leg bars. It was leg bars.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did
anyway,
signal leg bars.
It's a 50 partnership, so that's that, and they only need 58 more to win at 161 for 2, and everything's coming up Millhouse, if that's the correct expression, for Sri Lanka. So, top ball to finish.
58 to win, 55 minutes till lunch. Is the provision for lunch to be put back? I can't remember.
Well, only if they throw away a lot of wickets, and it's 9 wickets down, probably. Something like that.
Mr. Rolite says, country song title, When You Leave Me, Walk Out Backwards So It Looks Like You're Coming Home. There's a niche one for you, Forthy. Is Fat Dog named after a bit from the TV show Community?
Don't know the answer to that one, must admit.
Leah says, Panasar had the best perfectly executed defence because he always played it down the completely wrong line.
Not always. His defence wasn't the worst in the world.
I mean, that's a perfectly good defensive shot down the wrong line if it's not hitting the stumps. Just play down the line of off stump. If it's missing off stump, you're fine.
Barman Kaltai just says dilettantes. I'm not quite sure why, but
Perhaps he's talking about Dulwich College boys. I don't know.
oh yes, maybe.
The Wikipedia page doesn't reveal where Fat Dog got their name from, but it could easily have been from Community, yes. Ollie Stone is back into that. Oh, I missed the ball while I was looking up Fat Dog's name origins there, but nothing seems to have happened very much. I believe it was a dot, so sorry. Ollie Stone in for his second ball of the over. Sorry. Defended again. Correctly by Nissanka, dot ball. He remains on. Two fat ladies, 88. Probably can't say that anymore.
I used to do a bit of bingo calling many years ago.
Did you really?
I think-
Where did you do that?
Yes, not professionally, you know, just
Not professionally. I mean, I didn't make a living out of it.
no. I think we used to have the odd bingo session up at the rugby club. I to do the calling.
I
out
think you
numbers.
should just do a cricket bingo and use numbers related to cricketers and cricket feats.
Ooh, slightly false shot from Nissanka. A few hands get thrown into the air by the slips, but in the end, no great alarms.
You mean of the lines of 2 and 6, Ollie Stone?
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Big
Or
figures.
though you might be able to get them rhyming too. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I will have to work on that to see if we can come up with some game like that.
Bingo evenings got rather taken. I always felt pub trivia slightly took over as from bingo nights.
Given it-
Maybe they still pick them up north a bit more.
Given his number, I think you might have to be a little bit careful with Angelo Matthews, though.
Yeah. True. Pulled by Nissanka down to long leg for a single. He moves on to 89, just 57 to win.
I do hope Nissanka makes a century. I think he thoroughly deserves one.
Do you think if someone doesn't get a century that it's correct to say they deserved one? The score's your score, really, isn't it?
Well, that's true.
He won't. If he doesn't get one now, only 11 away, he won't deserve it.
Yeah.
If he doesn't
At
get
what
it, if you
point?
see
If
what
he
I
gets
mean.
99, if he gets 99, he gets 99.
Yeah,
That's the number of runs
and
he
if you're
scored.
stupid enough to get to 99 and not get a century, then you didn't deserve it.
You didn't
No.
deserve it.
No, definitely not.
Angelo
He said
Angelo
very
Matthews
harshly. Yeah,
plays that
it'll be
one
his.
point.
It'll be his second Test century if he gets it.
I think the only people who deserve a century don't get one are people who selflessly give their wickets away in some cause or other, which occasionally can happen. Those
By
are
the
only
way,
people.
that 100 of Angelo Matthews, he made 200s against England in 2014 at Lords and
14.
Leeds.
Right. Yeah. No, I remember him slightly unexpectedly winning a test for Sri Lanka in that series, and it was mostly down to Angelo Matthews. Those days seem quite a long time ago now. 10 years ago, we've got a fuller version of Angelo Matthews, but he squeezed that one for 4 down to the third man fence past second slip.
See, I know I can get them lined up nice and early now.
Beautiful. Love your work. A little bit of slither action. That's the third man theme, isn't it?
That is the third man
Yes.
jingle. It was down to third
Yeah.
man, and I managed to
Oh,
get
and that's
it
the
in.
end of the over as well. 166 for 253 to win.
I can give you an update on Leicestershire, who've recovered from 16 for 7 to be 88 for 9 against Yorkshire.
I always feel a bit disappointed when sides get down to some ridiculously low score at the beginning, and they kind of just scrape out of it so it doesn't look completely ridiculous. You'd really rather they were all out for 36, wouldn't you? Not 88.
There was a
Yeah.
very exciting moment when Australia was something like 21 for 9 against South Africa about 10 years ago.
Oh,
It looked
that's
like
right.
they might snatch the record from New Zealand's 26 for Test cricket, but then unfortunately there was a last wicket stand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nathan Lyon and I can't remember who. They got to 49 or something, didn't they?
very annoying.
The Pawnbot has sent us a super chat of $4.99. It just says
That's a bot.
Forthy is having trouble keeping his balls in line.
That's fine, we'll take the money, thank you, that's no problem. That's a big dot ball, Wokes to Nissanka, and Nissanka looks like a man who is not going to get flustered, and nor should he. He's got 2 days to get the 11 runs required to get to his century, so time is not the problem.
Yeah, he's definitely slowed down though, because he up until about 15 minutes ago he'd been a runner ball. Now he's pathetically slow at 89 off 98.
When you say 98, he's 98 now. He's 97 when you said that.
Oh, sorry. I'm a ball.
He's defended that one to mid. Defended that one to mid wickets. Dot ball, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Pokey Bumfinger says at the Payne's Poppet Factory they also had a tea laboratory that did all the British tea bag blends every year.
Oh, I did not know that.
No, I
Did
didn't
not
know
know.
that. Yeah.
Niche knowledge.
Walls used to make, well, still do, I think, make ice cream, and the factory was down for half the year. So they said, well, we can't have the factory down for half the year. So they started making sausages. So in comes Wokes again. Cuts.
Is that how that happened?
So you got this very peculiar. Come back for 2. So you got this very peculiar brand that is Wall's ice cream and Wall's sausages because it's made in the same factory.
Yeah, they're owned by some big multinational nowadays, aren't they? Can't remember
Unilever.
which. Yeah, Unilever, I think. Yeah.
I am pretty sure. Where are we? Halfway through Wokes' 12th over. He's 1 for 48. Hasn't looked especially threatening, but he's got that in common with pretty well all the other bowlers this morning, to be honest. Doesn't feel as if anything sensational is about to happen. What we have got is, I think we've got 2 on Hayden's. Oh, and that's cut airily where a third slip would have been, but it's gone all the way for one of these. There's not.
Well, that's enough.
There's not much.
We've had enough.
There's not much point having 2 on Hayden's, as they're called.
They're off Hayden's actually.
Are they off Hayden's?
Yeah, 2 off Hayden's. Yeah.
I see. Okay, there they are. I was going to say, there's not much point if you're going to bowl short and wide down the offside.
No.
Yeah.
Off Hayden does slightly explain it. They're trying to tempt him into a loose, loose waft.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a slightly strange tactic at 90 when he's on 95. I don't think he'll be suckered in.
They're showing a ball that Butcher hit when they won a test. The state of it is so bad, it would never be allowed. They'd have changed the ball in the game now.
Yes, they would have done as well. That was it's not a Pyrrhic victory, but it was a slightly, not a false victory either, but Gilchrist came up with a very generous declaration, and Mark Butcher played the innings of his life, but it was a series that England lost 4-1. It would have been 5-0 otherwise had he not declared.
Yeah. Well, I suppose he declared so that they had a chance of winning it.
They had a chance. It could have been 4-0, that's true. Okay, end of the over. Sri Lanka, 172 for 2, need 47 to win.
Richard Purvis says bingo call 6 and 9 Cox and Willie. Sudahu says
I was trying to avoid that, but yeah.
Today. Mog says deserving 100 but not making one is like a good shout that isn't actually out. Fucking meaningless. Lockie 6 says English isn't my first language, so this may be wrong, but it's root a synonym for fuck. It is in Australia. I don't know about other countries.
Yes, it is.
Mog says 69 would be more like Willie and Warner.
Yeah.
And Martley just says, did someone mention sausages? Indeed they did. We're due a change, are we not?
We are due a change, but there's no sign of anybody coming in here, so
we'll carry on.
I'll wait until someone appears.
You tell me, we're due for...
Are you able to let... Yeah, Dylan should be in the waiting room if you're able to let him in.
Now that might not be very possible for me. I have no idea whatsoever how to do Dylan. Well, I don't have any idea how to do anybody.
But we have another super chat in the meantime from Warren Davis, who sends us $4.99. It says, weren't Poppets the Russian roulette of sweets, with them slipping in peanuts for those who had anaphylactic reactions?
I think that's Revels. I think Poppets were monodimensional from memory. I think Revels were the ones which had some killer peanuts tucked away in their arsenal. Meanwhile, there's a thought about an LBW appeal. It's probably going down leg side. I think even Ollie Pope has decided against reviewing that one.
I thought that was closer than that, but hey.
thought of Ollie Stone's over. Well, it's close, but I'm pretty sure if it's not been given on the pitch, it wasn't going to hit the whole of leg stump. Oh, hello, Bear. You take over.
Well, no. I mean, I was going to say go to the end of the over, but if you want to change over now, okay, I can do. In that case,
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
All right, Dylan.
Hi there, how are you? It's
I'm
nice
very well.
to be back.
Indeed. I don't think it'll be for a long time. They're cruising to this victory
don't
now. It
think
looks that
so.
way.
Yeah.
Patton Nissanka is 97 off 103 and looking rather good.
Yes, Sri Lanka have just taken the game away here. Some solid display of good batting for Patton Nissanka for sure.
Yeah, been beaten on the outside edge, not letting worried it. And England desperately required wickets early this morning. They got one, and they beat the edge quite a lot when Angelo Matthews came out, but they just can't hold the right line and keep giving runs away. That one's into the thigh, Nissanka. They're bowling too straight for me. They need to just concentrate on that off-stump 9 and try and get that little nibble either way. They tend to be bowling a little too middle and leg, and it's just being easily worked around the corner. 4 singles, or 4s, as the case may be. 44 required to win, 175 for 2. Be a cruise. This will be the highest score by an Asian side to win a test in England in a 4th innings, which is quite an odd one. Previous best is 180 for 7 by Pakistan, which shows how much the game has moved on. This is going to be a cinch. Stone in and guided by Nissanka down towards third man. Bashir is down there. Speed of 1 run. Move on to 98. Presumably lunch will be at 1:15, and Sri Lanka will probably only need about 10 or 15, 20 runs most by then, and they'll take an extra half hour as well. In which case, what we probably will do, if James arrives in time, we'll do the 1:55 to 2:25 slot. We'll carry on after this slot.
I think James might have decided to zoom in.
No, apparently he's not. Apparently he's decided he's going to come in. Yeah. Stone is in short, and Matthews gets in a bit of a compromised position, but managed to defend it into the ground. There's no run, and that ends Ollie Stone's 6 over. Number 26, 43 to win, 176 for 2. Nissanka 98 facing up, 19 for Matthews. You've just been getting another book out there. 40?
No, I was turning off the heater. It's got a little warm. Richard Purvis, bingo call 2 fat ladies, Gatting and Hemmings. That's for 88. Stephen Kelp thinks Revels was all about striking the jackpot and getting the chewy toffee ones. I don't like the chewy toffee ones.
Oh, I do. Yes.
Yeah.
That's some nasty sort of orangey ones, which are grim. And
I like the...
No, it's a bit of a weird orangey taste. It's not great. And then, of course, the absolute shitter that you don't want, if you're me, is the fucking chocolate covered raisin. Ugh.
Yeah, those
we all agree on the Maltese, though. That was always welcome.
Oh, the Maltese are classy, but still love them. I'm sure they don't have that many calories in. There's a lot of air in a Malteser.
a lot of air in the packaging as well.
Yeah, well, there's always that. Gus Atkinson is going to come back. He's 1 for 37 this morning. He took the only wicket this morning, which was a good catch by Bashir down at long leg. Nothing has really happened.
It really
since
was.
then.
I felt like Kazam Mendes really nailed that pull shot. It was quite unfortunate there to be taken by. It was quite a spectacular catch as well by Shoaib Bashir.
Yeah. But you have to say, now that beats Nissanka's outside edge, draws him into a shot outside the off stump. Defending at ball he didn't need to defend.
Absolutely.
79 miles an hour. Yeah, I mean, I guess you say England are going to lose this game, and they lost it yesterday batting like twats, and actually more pertinent is staying on the field on Saturday afternoon bowling 17 overs of spin when they shouldn't have been out there, really.
So when you really break down England's second innings there, where do you think it really went wrong?
They were all really slap happy. I mean, the first 3 wickets, Duckett did Duckett things, Lawrence did very Lawrence things. That's a nice shot by Nissanka. Punches it out in front of square. Josh Hole's going to get back for 2. There's a little bit of field out there. He's going to go back for 2. They're going to come back for 3. And Nissanka has scored, I think, his second test ton. It's an absolutely cracking innings by him. Fair dues. We shall give him the jingle that he deserves.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. 100.
Congratulations, sir. You are a centurion.
Spectacular innings by Patrick Nissanka. A real display of quality technique, really good alignment, and really bringing this game home for Sri Lanka. It's been a great display.
And went off punchy last night, didn't he? In probably the best conditions to batting in the whole test so far. Left alone outside the off stump by Matthews. Next ball, there's no one. In answer to your question, Dylan, that point and yesterday England's batting, I think, they got slap happy at the top, which they're quite happy to do. And then actually Vishwa Fernando ripping out Harry Brook and Joe Root with a couple of crackers was probably the moment they thought, we're actually in with a chance here.
Right.
Because then you only really had Jamie Smith and a bunch of half-decent tail-end bowler batsmen.
I did think the silver lining in the cloud was Jamie Smith's innings. I mean, especially going forward, it shows that he's able to absorb that pressure and put it back on.
Yeah.
Especially so early in his career.
Absolutely, definitely. I mean, it was
Yeah.
phenomenal. I mean, I was out and about. That one's left alone outside the off stump. There's no one. I was following it on the text, and suddenly the score was rattling up, and I was looking down at the text, and it was like 4-6, 4.
Very encouraging to see it.
Yeah, it was. And that's
especially
good.
looking ahead to the Ashes and other series against India next year.
And you know, if he'd have managed to stay out there and get nearer to 100 and had some backup, and England scored another 50 or 60 runs and set them 280, I think they'd have maybe approached it slightly differently, Sri Lanka.
Absolutely.
And offered more of a chance to England. That's defended by Matthews out to the cover, and there's no run. But no doubt about it, England giving away the best part of 100 runs on Saturday afternoon was the stupidest thing to do. I do think it's slightly unfair on the bowling side now that they are the ones put under pressure to decide whether play continues or not. I think, especially the way they hold on.
What do you guys think of whipping out a pink ball in that situation?
Well, it depends if it's new or old. Now, he hasn't got old at that as Angelo, but he said it straight up in the air. He wasn't really at the pitch of anything at all, but mid-on is up, and it's gone over the top of him, and they get 2 runs. I think I don't think you can do that unless it's a worn pink ball. And the pink balls, I don't think they have a pink... No, they must have a pink Dukes ball, because we have played day-night tests here. I don't think you can do that, but I think you have to say, if the lights are on, you're playing cricket, right? If it's not raining, you're out there.
Worse. I think it was the alternative of only playing your spinners and finner. You had to entertain the crowd and all those things.
Well, exactly.
It's them bringing out a pink ball.
Possibly. I just do think it kind of puts the onus on the bowling side to sort of stay out there to entertain the crowds. And I think when you're playing a high level of professional sport, that shouldn't be the case. You shouldn't have that decision thrust upon you.
Exactly.
You're either playing the game in the spirit of the game, i.e. everyone can bowl, or you're off, basically, as far as I'm concerned. This kind of halfway, no man's land is bullshit. And it's probably cost England the game, to be fair. They were 95 for 5 when they couldn't bowl any.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, they got to 200 for 5. And then they whipped out the rest of the wickets for 40 runs, 50, 60 runs yesterday.
And if you're losing a dead rubber against Sri Lanka, honestly, that's one thing. If you're losing the Ashes deciding test match, that's another.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think going into this day today, there was a piece written by Michael Vaughan about how England may have been slightly complacent taking on Sri Lanka in this test. Maybe.
Very much so, I think. That's short, and Nissanka sways out of the way, and there's no run. I mean, they thought when they got the series won, they thought they'd just come out and play pure baseball. And at the end of the day, this isn't England's strongest side by a shot, is it? I mean, they've switched and swapped bowlers.
Josh Hull and
got Josh Hull, but I mean, your top 7 is compromised by the fact that you don't have Ben Stokes, who's one of the better batsmen in the side, and and Zach Crawley, your now permanent opener, has not been able to play. That's pulled by Nissanka. I think he's going to get 6, or he's going to be out. He's going to get 6. It's gone into the crowd. I think England have given this up probably now. It is 6. We'll give it a jingle, and this will be over. I think this will be over reasonably quickly now. I think Nissanka will probably go into full-on T20 mode or ODI mode.
It's been amazing to see Nissanka's his technique as well, the way he's dealt with the conditions. I think looking over the course of the series at people like Karen Ratner, Angelo Matthews, and De Silva at points as well, you kind of see that they they don't line up as properly with their front shoulder, with their elbow, and they open up a bit, and that may have worked for them in the subcontinent and other places.
Wow, now that's a filthy delivery. Nissanka went well outside his leg stump to plant it over the offside. Ollie Stone saw him go and shoved it miles down the leg side, and it's going to be a wide. Yeah, I mean, England have definitely been complacent in this test, as has been shown by the way they've basically played it. And you can't always rely on Root to dig you out of trouble. Harry Brook has to take a little bit more responsibility. That's uppercut. Is it uppercut now? It could be. Oh, couldn't quite get there, Bashir. Nearly. I think he lost it temporarily and didn't quite get in quick enough. And they got through for a single.
Yeah. And I think, speaking of Joe Root as well, they're doing an analysis earlier comparing his side-on alignment with Angelo Matthews, and how he just kind of stays side-on, whereas Angelo Matthews he opens up his hip and gets himself.
Yeah, and the ball's and his back's coming down from gully, so he's always getting squared up by the one.
Because
the one that's going
is opening.
Yeah,
his back kind of wafts through instead of coming in a straight line.
Exactly, and he gets squared up massively by anything that's going away from him. Well, he's not the first batsman in England to do that, let's be honest. That's a nice little dab around the corner of a pull by Angelo Matthews to get himself a single. 29 required. And Sri Lanka cruising to victory here. That'll be a good victory for Sri Lanka. I mean, England should have been a bit more professional. Probably should have, should have won this test. I mean, they were 260 for 3, and getting all out for 300 and whatever it was, 25 was stupid on day one or
Australia used to be the past masters of the dead rubber. A lot of 4-1 wins.
Yes, very much so. Yes. Driven out to cover, and there's no run. I mean, I guess England go, well, we won the series 2-1, but I mean, had the chance to get 6 in a row, put themselves up to 4th in the.
Have a perfect test summer
in the table. I mean, the chance of them getting into the World Test Championship final very slim. I mean, I was looking at the table the other day. England have played, I think this is their 15th or 17th match. The next nearest is Australia with 12. India third with only 9 tests played so far, of which 5 were against England, which they battered us 4-1. That's defended into the onside, and there's no one. And looking at the way England play and the amount of away tests and the fact that often people don't win away tests, England's chances of ever reaching a World Test Championship with the amount of tests they play, I think are pretty slim. Ever, just in terms of the amount of points they'll probably lose for bad over rates, etc., etc.
Just as well, no one really cares, to be honest. Maybe we would if we were in it.
Well, I'd like to see us get into it, because I think if we're playing India at home in a World Test Championship, and it always seems to be in England, we'd win it. But hey, over to you.
It doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
Stephen Kelt says Dylan's here for a good time, not a long time. Kieran Roseblade says the coffee Rebels were rank. They were worse than anaphylactic shock. See, I obviously go my own way on Rebels. I like the coffee ones, but what can you say? I used to call bingo at Butlins and was reported and reprimanded for saying, oh, goodness me, Mutual Oral 69. I definitely should have been reported for that, Mr. Rowlight. Pokey Bumfinger agrees that coffee Revels were the worst.
They were. Yeah, Rebels were just shit, really. I don't know if do they still make them in Australia? I don't think they do them here. That's turned around a corner by Angelo Matthews, gets himself a single. 28 record to win.
Sensational usernames there.
Well,
that is very much the nature of our listenership. Pokey Mr. Bumfinger says a stray minstrel here and there in the mix didn't save them. Minstrels were nice.
Yeah, minstrels are good.
You still have minstrels in the UK?
Yeah, minstrels are still about, but that's the thing, a crunchy outer chocolate shell with a nice chocolate inner. You can't go wrong, can you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gus Atkinson is in, pulled by Nissanka straight to Ollie Stone, who's down at long leg, and it will just be the one.
Just wanted to get your thoughts, guys, on Kamindu Mendes this series. I mean, what a revelation he's been for Sri Lanka.
Well, we were talking about that earlier. He can't start at number 7 because he's eating up a bowler's spot. So they either bump him up one place. All their keepers are in the top 3, it seems, or 4. You know, I mean, if they've got a top order batsman who's keeping, he should probably drop down a space, or they have to give him more overs to bowl. I presume maybe in Sri Lanka he does get more overs. That one
being
is
an ambidextrous fellow, he does bowl with both his left and right.
Yeah, that was pumped out to cover, but fielded by Pope. There's no run.
The thing is, I'm actually really good at bowling with that. It's a bit like Jennifer Lopez being quite good at singing and quite good at acting. You want someone to be really good at one. You don't want someone to be quite good at both.
Yeah, but I mean, purely as a batsman, he's just been a phenomenal showcase over this series.
He has.
Yeah.
And maybe he should just be put aside as a batsman. That one comes back a little bit off the seam by Gus Atkinson. It's played up to mid-on. There's no run.
Got a super chat at $4.99 as well. So whenever you're ready for the super chat jingle.
Yeah. Let me give you one. We'll go for this one.
Use your bribe, super chat.
It's GC Naked Fun with Fourthie. Your suggestion of whipping out a pink ball is very tempting.
Of course it is. Atkinson, 5th ball of his 11th over. It's full and attempted Yorker maybe, but dug out by Angelo Matthews up to mid-on, and there's no run. Bit going through the motions here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I cannot actually see the screen from the.
Of course, yes. Well, that is because our computer crapped out on day one of the test.
I'm just going from your vividly portrayed commentary of the game. There.
Well, it'll be back.
Visuals.
It'll be back. I did get a message. The computer has arrived at home this morning. I was hoping it arrived before I got here, and I could have set it up for today. Oh, now that is seems to be a slower delivery, but it's not that much slower. And Matthews just pops it up, but short of the man at mid-wicket, and there is no run. That ends that over, and it's over to you, Fourthie.
Yes, well, we're still on the Revels chat. Stephen Kelk, goodness, the Raisin Revels were the worst.
Yeah, exactly. A crime against chocolate.
It's actually only the toffee ones I really dislike. It goes on to say there were to Revels. Oh, it jumped up for a second. There were to Revels what Noisette triangles were to Quality Street. He's referring to the triangular green ones.
Oh, that's weirdly. That's weirdly one of my daughter's favourites.
There you are. Really? You see, something for everyone. And Hattie the Batty says, talking of chewy things, just finished a box of Tofifi.
Nah, you see, I don't like Tofifi. But when it comes to, I used to like. What were the ones that I really liked? There were some. There was a German one.
Coffits? No.
No, there was a German one that was kind of dark chocolate on the outside and quite tough toffee, which I quite like. You have to chew at. That's pulled by Nissanka out to deep square, where our subfielder, who I still don't know the name of, big dude, fields it, and it's a single.
He looks a little bit like Kobe Mainu.
Yeah, a little bit. Sri Lanka's in the crowd. There's a very short Sri Lankan there with a flag waving. He looks very happy, and so he should be. Pulled back some pride of the Sri Lankans in this test. Pulled by Angelo Matthews down to long leg, where it's fielded by Harry Brook. England just looking like they want to get off the field, and it's another single.
You get Sri Lanka playing in Melbourne, there's far more Sri Lankans than the home crowd.
Oh yes, there's a big Sri Lankan community over there.
When's the next time Australia play Sri Lanka at home now? I can't, and they seem to be pretty bad at getting the lesser teams over. I mean, how many times have they put off Bangladesh and Afghanistan from coming to Australia? It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be allowed. Off the pads by Nissanka down to long leg, and it's a single. I mean, haven't they cancelled Afghanistan 3 winters in a row
like
potentially?
I think they refused to do a tour in Pakistan, I believe, some time ago. Was that right?
No, because they went over there, didn't they? They won a 3-test series, didn't they? Yeah, they won the last test in the last sort of 20 minutes of the game or whatever. They managed to bowl out Pakistan. Pakistan are a real state at the moment. They can't even win games at home, can they? They lost to Bangladesh 2-0.
I'm just reflecting on that shambolic elimination to the USA.
Yes, pulled down to long leg, and it's a single for Matthews, who's 25 or 53, and Nissanka's 111 not out. I mean, it's the politics in Pakistan, isn't it? They certainly got potential and they've got some players, but it seems to me that they get rid of the management every time they lose a series, and the next management has a completely different idea about who should be in the side.
No continuity. And Pakistan in recent years has been one of those things where you never quite know what you're going to get.
No. And they've got massive potential in some of the players out there. They certainly do. Ollie Stone is in, and it's defended by Nissanka back to the bowler, and there's no run.
There's a men's Australian 2-test tour of Sri Lanka next February.
And traditionally, Australia don't do very well in Sri Lanka either, do they?
No, typically no.
I mean, they're worse than us when it comes to playing spin, I reckon, on the subcontinent.
Australian women have got a match against Sri Lankan women at T20 on the 6th of October.
Interesting to see how Steve Smith goes in this year. Is he going to be opening in this? You got India, haven't you, coming at home?
Well, theoretically, I suppose he is. He's the incumbent, as they say.
Stone in, pulled again, and I think that's 6 more. Yep, it is indeed. Another one of these.
So Nissanka on a roll here.
Yeah, very much so. And with only 17 required to win, this is going to be over before lunch, I suspect. I would just feed the 6 and let us get out of here quickly.
I think both sides are quite eager to get it over with.
Well, you know, this is why they should have reduced the price. Was that catch in the crowd? Looked like a reasonably good one. You could have dropped it at the last minute. Can't really see. But Sri Lanka's very happy. And I think there's been good rapport between the two sides.
Yeah,
in
more
this
or
series.
less. Who got a bit of a send-off yesterday? Was it Dan Lawrence, I think?
It was Dan Lawrence. It was to Lahira Kumara.
Or saying this isn't T20 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
what are your thoughts on Dan Lawrence going forward? I mean, he's been put in a bit of a pickle by the ECB.
Yeah.
When he has not opened in his first-class career.
Well, exactly that. I think they'll take him along as a utility batsman because they seem to like him. I do think he's 2-leg-side Larry, man. I mean, he's got to learn to fucking drive the ball through the offside. He's always trying to work balls from. He comes down and across and tries to work everything from wide of the off stump through the leg side. I think there's an appeal for LBW, but it's not going to be out because
it's like if we reflect on the first innings when he actually got into absolute pickle misjudging a short ball trying to pull it. It's like he kind of goes back and across and then leans, kind of falls over.
Yeah.
And then everything tries to go to the leg side.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he'd probably do all right batting down at 5 or 6. I mean,
because that's what he's suited to. That's what he's experienced, and he's been doing well there.
Matty just works out to short leg, and there's no run. I mean, when he was in the side in one of Root's sides in India, he played reasonably well. I think he got his highest Test score out there was in the 80s or something. That's tossed up. Oh, that's a good ball from Bashir. A bit too late. Tosses it up wide of the leg off stump. And turns out the rough. Beats the inside edge of Matthew's bat, but doesn't hit the stumps. It's not out. That's kind of where he needs to be bowling consistently.
It's been amazing to see the maturity of Bashir.
I think he just drags it. He bowls too flat, and he bowls it, especially when the pitch isn't offering you anything. That was just dropped into the offside. There is no one in the covers that short, and they get through for a quick single.
Yeah, and you know there was a conversation that Rob Key had with the Sky staff. It's very interesting to kind of get into the workings of what his strategic vision is, and it's been interesting to see people like Rehan Ahmed being brought in and then omitted, and then Josh Hull being picked over. People like Sam Cook have been putting consistent numbers in counter.
Yeah, I mean clearly they brought in Josh Hull because everyone says he's quick, but I mean if you look at his pace, it's not that
83,
quick. Yeah, exactly.
80, thereabouts.
Punched off the
back.
About
the same pace that Jimmy Anderson was bowling.
Well, exactly. Punched out to the deep off the back foot by Nissanka. It's another single. 15 required to win. Very much so. I mean, all this talk of quick. I mean, Atkinson's pace is down in this test. Maybe he's played 3 in a row, got a slight niggle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair enough.
Because when Rob Key was explaining his rationale behind picking Josh Hull over, let's say, Sam Cook, is because he was bringing him in from Mark Wood.
Yes.
So we thought express pace is the attribute he's going to deliver on.
Precisely. Hold on. That one has been swept, and swept nicely. I think it was Angelo Matthews that time. It's going to be 4 more runs.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah, it was Angelo. It's only 11 required to win now. Good shot. Swept hard.
We're a bit behind on messages, so I just might rattle off a few. Anthony Henderson, England is going down, so very sad, but England still won the series.
Yep.
Lockie 6, being shithouse and losing feels much more English.
Yes.
Farong, losing points for slow, overrates. Bold Duckett also says Farong. Ray Liverpool, good day, guys, watching from Guyana. 2 games to 1 is not bad. See you all next test. Well, when that comes round, yes.
Well, yes, if we can get coverage as well. I mean, this is the big thing. The Pakistan series, A, they don't know where it's being played, and B, there are no rights so far. I'm sure we can find it on some sort of stream or IPTV or something. I will be ferreting around to try and find out. And it doesn't start at too bad a time. It's before English summer ends, so it starts at 6:30 in the morning. But old people like me who can't sleep anymore, actually getting up at 5:30 isn't that bad. I'm usually asleep on the sofa by 10 anyway, so still get my 7 or 8 hours sleep and getting here for an early morning. So I'm quite looking forward to it if they do it. If someone finds it somewhere, and I'm sure we will manage to find it somewhere. Josh Hull is going to come in again. He's gone for 32 in his 5 overs, and his first ball's down the leg side, and Saka tries to work it fine, but can't. Through to the keeper.
By the way, Jay Grover compliments you on your dress sense, Dylan. Once again, the only
Thank you
gorilla
very much.
who knows how to dress.
Well, you know.
It's a habit, I suppose.
Man, he dresses smart. After your dad, he always used to turn up in a bloody jacket and tie at times. I mean, crikey.
I'm a little bit more casual.
Yes, and rightly so. It's got an awful long run up, Josh Hull, to bowl at 80 miles an hour. kind of old school.
Yeah, I think Stuart Broad was speaking about how he kind of should be focused more on keeping his strides.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll work on that. That one is just knocked into the leg side and they go through for a quick single. They might even go through for an overthrow. Maybe not, don't know. I saw Atkinson diving to stop it, but didn't see what happened. No, they didn't bother. Yeah, I'm sure someone will, after everyone else in the country has seen him, we can see the obvious sort of shortfalls here. I mean, he falls away, collapses his knee. Considering he's 6'7", he's not delivering it from a great height. There's lots of things you can work on with him if you put him with a proper coach.
I mean, the plus side is he does have a braced front leg, and he's obviously got the attributes to do well. He's got potential.
He's definitely got potential, and he's only 20 years old. The thing is, you've got to work on him, haven't you? Someone's got to coach him. That's short and wide, and Matthews just lets it through, and there's no run. Which hopefully they will do. Go on.
Motley says, I've said it before and I'll say it again, 10 teams, 3-year cycle, 3 home, 3 away series of 3 test per series each year. All teams then play equal amount that way. Fairer.
Yeah, it would be, except for England, India and Australia are never going to go away and do away with 5 test series against each other because they bring in the revenue and therein lies the crux.
It's like saying proportional representation is a better system. Yes, but Turkish don't vote for Christmas. You're going to have to get somebody to bring it in when they're in power, which they won't do.
Yeah, or... Well, I can actually see that as that's pulled by Angelo Matthews out to deep mid wicket and there's no one. I can potentially see that at the end of this parliament actually, because
maybe
when you look at the actual figures, even though Labour got that whopping great majority, the share of the vote wasn't great, and they're going to have to do many very unpopular things because the Tories have fucked the country so badly. And they may well possibly be staring down the barrel coming into the next election, at which point a year out they might go, you know what, let's try and get proportional representation in and keep the Tories out. And that's my kind of one hope. My other hope, as Nissanka faces up to Hull and gets crashed through the offside out towards the cover boundary. It's another 4.
Reverse Brexit.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah. Well, as more old and Brexity type people die, and young people, and everyone's fucking queuing up to go to the go to the continent, and getting really pissed off, and the fact that they can't live there anymore for extended periods of time, I'm hoping, in the same way that Farage and his twatty right wingers put pressure on the Tories for the reasons we had the referendum in the first place, I'm hoping some sort of movement on the left comes along that threatens Labour with the same sort of thing, and they call another referendum. Because I'm sure if there was another referendum now, it will be reversed, because we've all seen what it's like, and it's shit.
Exactly.
we were promised all this bullshit as that's defended back down the track and there's no run, and of course none of it was true, and anyone who had any sense knew it wasn't
exactly.
true.
Just lost the whole EU labour market and everything that came with it.
Exactly, and now we've got
Such
record
a
migration, which we always had before, because we need fucking workers. It's just they weren't registered as immigration because they were coming across here from Europe. We didn't have boat crossings because everyone just got on the back of a truck, but it didn't really matter. They were still coming in. And these things aren't the reason the country's in the shit, as has been proved, because this country is even worse now that we have left Europe. So all these things that they told us are absolute bullshit, and I would love it if it was reversed. But
well,
hey,
you join us on the week in Westminster,
yes.
where we're just...
well, the cricket's about to be lost, so I'll just have a little rant before we go. What we got 15 minutes before lunch, and they require just 5 runs.
5 to win.
5 to win.
Yeah. I'll do the messages at the end of the match. I think.
Well, hopefully. Well, Bashir's bowling, so I imagine it's going to be over this innings. Everyone's up inside. I'm imagining Matthews comes skipping down the track, smashes him somewhere over the leg side for at least 4 of these. Or maybe a sweep. No, he just works it into the leg side, and even though everyone's up on the single, he finds the gap and gets a single. 4 required to win. Nissanka, who's 123 not out, probably gets man of the match then, I guess. Would you have
He had a
thought?
very impressive first innings as well. 64.
Yeah, he got 64 in the first innings, and a match-winning century has cruised Sri Lanka to victory. Proves that this pitch wasn't as bad, and England really did fucking throw it away yesterday, along with a spell of really good bowling in the middle by Vishwa Fernando. And England have managed to cock it up. They could have had a perfect summer, but they failed to deliver, as that one is defended back to the bowler, and there is no run. And this is the problem with Bashir. This is it, too short. Every time the bowler you've got to try, as a spinner, you're trying to draw the guard to the front foot, and he gets played off the back foot too much for me. Bashir, short, wide, cut, and that should be the game. Hasn't got a lot of pace on it, but I think it's going to make its way to the boundary. Looks like it does. Sri Lanka win by 8 wickets. Great victory for them. They look very happy. Well deserved. England threw it away. And that's not being unkind to the Sri Lankans. I thought England was stupid to stay out on Saturday, as we've mentioned many times before, and they kind of threw it away yesterday. But I think the 100 runs given away on Saturday afternoon were the difference in the game for me. And it was unnecessary, and England should have come off much sooner.
But it was a phenomenal game from Sri Lanka's point of view.
Yep.
Good way to finish the series. Obviously, Nissanka, De Silva, and Mendes. Kaminda Mendes having a strong first innings there, and then Pathum Nissanka taking it home.
Absolutely.
It's a fantastic game.
So we have to say very well done to Sri Lanka. Good for them. England will feel that was a missed opportunity. I'm not sure they'll care too much. I'm sure the press will give them a rough time until they're all a bit idiotic. But and this is bad for Bazball. When you've won 5 out of 6, you can't really say it's been a bad summer, can you? Stronger opposition to play. Got to go away and play in New Zealand, and we've got to play in the not West Indies, Pakistan. But I imagine Stokes should be back for the Pakistan and New Zealand series, and so will Zach Crawley. So I think this England team will look a lot different, and they'll have good memories of Pakistan.
Speaking holistically about both series of West Indies and this one as well, it's not been too bad from England. They've had definitely had some good moments.
Very much so.
Jamie Smith's emerged as well, which is good news. So at least one new.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gus Atkinson has come through.
Yeah, and Gus Atkinson as well. Absolutely. I'm just going to run off a few messages, and after I've done that, if you want to sum up or give some valedictory thoughts. Stephen Kelt, got to catch a train. I assume they'll knock the 27 off. Thanks for the summer of coverage. Thanks for being with us, Stephen. Mr. P. Morning, watching from Dublin. The positive Irish attitude doesn't seem to have made me feel more positive about this match. Mind you, already job done 2-1. I think we just lost the plot in this one. Leah, why use J-Lo as an example when you could use Madonna, who apart from Dick Tracy has only appeared in absolute stinkers? Lopez at least has Out of Sight. I actually agree with all of you with that. Out of Sight is a good film.
Desperately seeking Susan.
Well, unfortunately, we won't have to carry on this fascinating debate, although hold it for the Australian limited over matches. Hombre Nuevo, thanks for guiding us through another fun summer of tests. There's been some good cricket played and great commentary. Comments like that make it all worthwhile. Thank you so much for all your support.
Thank
Tom
you,
Brady
thank you.
Nuevo. Pirate Badshaw, another stalwart. Reason, the dark tough German one. Is that one you meant? Chocolate you meant, Bear? Reason, R-I-E-S-E-N?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, Reason. I like them. Like nice
Leah.
proper toffee with dark chocolate. Good.
Leah, what are you on about? I've tried British chocolate and it's all very unpleasant. Jay Grover, my sweetest childhood has rendered this conversation highly confusing, but at least I have no feelings. Leah, desperately seeking Susan were mint. Though another one in the DSS camp. Barong Women's T20 World Cup starts early October in UAE, was supposed to be held in Bangladesh. Steve Bruce, not that Steve Bruce. Will the Gorillas be doing any of the T20 Blast, etc.? I need some gorilla in my life. When will you guys be next on?
Well, we're on Wednesday night at 6:30. We cover internationals, but we don't really do the Blast. Domestic cricket doesn't really come into it, otherwise we'd be on all the time. But we cover all the internationals. So now we are on a programme of 3 T20s and 5 ODIs against the
Australia,
Aussies.
England.
Yeah, which will be followed about a week later by the Test series against Pakistan. So we won't be far from your ears at any time over the next 3 months, because straight after Pakistan I'll probably have about a week and a half, and then we're playing 2 or 3 tests down in New Zealand, which is going to be a shit because it's overnight. But although thankfully it might start at about 9 in the evening, so it should only finish at about 4 o'clock in the morning, which isn't the end of the world. Australia is the worst place basically to cover cricket from England. By a long shot.
Not for all of us.
Well, of course, not for you,
Steve Bruce adds, and we might have to get back to this if we've got time. Who's your bowling attack for Pakistan? Gorillas, have a thought about that, and if you have time at the end, we'll get back to it. Lockie 6, seriously, spaghetti bolognese or tikka? Ruan again, Sri Lanka should be given time to acclimatise. I'm angry about the team not being taken to Nuwara and kept there for a while to acclimatise. USA. Ruan Fernando, Peter. Sorry, not quite sure what that meant. Daz Reynolds, he asks about the bowlers for Pakistan again. Steve, Daz copying my question. He's furious. Daz Reynolds says, sorry, Steve. Oh, that's taken in good heart. Steve, just having my doner kebab and chips. Was hoping you guys would be on for the next hour while I devour it. Well, there's so many messages we might be, actually. I feel I ought to do them justice. Sagir Nissanka now has played more deliveries on his own than 9 English batters combined in their second innings. Jay Grover, I'm wearing a jacket and tie and I'm in my mum's spare bedroom. Slackers. Frank Rockefeller will congratulate Sri Lanka. Nicholas Agar, this is a fragile England team. Kieran Side, who I haven't heard from. Hi all, thanks for the coverage. It's too late for this time, but is there somewhere to find cheap free live cricket streams? If it's illegal, let us assume I'm asking for a friend. Well, depends what you're looking for. Some of it's available on YouTube and a lot of it's free.
I was trying to find this site the other day. In fact, if I search up boxing in my messages,
yes, right,
I might be able to find something from.
Have a look. Bear's doing that. I'm just going to finish off. There's just a handful left now. Sagir, Stephen Kelk. It takes you an hour to finish a doner kebab. How big's the thing? Messi, I think Dylan's hair is a perfect guerrillas response to Kumar Sangakkara's locks. Nicholas Agar, one great player route and rest are mediocre at nest. Probably means best. Colin Rosenthal, well, it looks like I made the cut. Oh, well done, Colin. We were hoping you would. So no big elbow for Colin. He was in the queue for. But some of your friends and colleagues, no doubt, have got elbowed out. Leah, what's a doner kebab? Sounds rather loud. Sagir, absolutely right. May I also throw in that all the hype around Stokes is also over the top talisman. Surely Root is the talisman. Steve Bruce says, ha ha, love your bear. That's nice.
Thank you.
Leah says England still never beaten Sri Lanka at the Oval. My word, there are a lot of messages. Shall I read them all out?
I think we ought to. Well, the interesting question is, someone did ask, what do we think is going to happen in Pakistan?
Have a little break, and I'll get back to that.
Now, I think in Pakistan, obviously, you're going to have Zach Crawley and Stokes back, so you're not going to need a whole battery of fast bowlers. Gus Atkinson will go out. I presume they may take Josh Hull, but you've got to remember Stokes will also have a say in that bowling, so they'll have at least 2 seamers. They'll probably stick another seamer in the side, and it wouldn't surprise me if they go back and try and get Jack Leach to go out to Pakistan, and they'll probably take a 3rd spinner as well, which might be Tom Hartley again. You never know. They seem to. I mean, they're clearly going to stick with Shoaib Bashir. Most of the time, England will only ever require one spinner. But you've got to kind of keep a few other people happy, because there are certain places in the world where you need more than one, and possibly two and a spare. So they might try and convince Jack Leach, does he want to go to Pakistan? They won't probably go to New Zealand because they won't require them out there. And that would be my summation. I don't know if Wokes will go out to Pakistan. It's a bit pointless taking Wokes' crap overseas.
That's true.
Woody is injured. Who else have we had in this series?
So, I mean, I think Dylan Pennington had a bit of an injury.
Yes.
In the Western. So how long is he out for? Do you know?
I think he's out for the rest of the year.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Josh Tongue as well. He had an injury to his
Oh, of
leg.
course, Ollie Stone. They'll probably take Ollie Stone. He'd be quite a useful one. So they might take Atkinson,
Ollie
Stone, one more seamer, and then.
Did you mention Potts?
Potts might go out. That's true. And then some spinners. But I think the top six will be pretty settled. If Stokes comes back and Crawley comes back, Dan Lawrence will be probably the spare batter again. But I imagine the top seven will be what it was previous to this series, which will be Crawley, Duckett, Pope, Root, Brook, Stokes at 6, Jamie Foster at 7, and then whoever the bowlers are, presumably Gus Atkinson at 8, either Potts or someone else, Bashir at 11, and again, if they use Root as a third spinner, they'll probably have Atkinson and maybe Stone, and then probably Leach and Bashir. Makes the tail a bit longer, but then if you add in Crawley and Stokes back into the side, they're back properly down to number 7, which is, I think, the balance they prefer. This team has looked pretty unbalanced this summer without Stokes in it, to be fair.
I mean, that's what he brings to the side, I suppose.
Yeah.
More than you look at his average with bat and ball. It's mainly what he brings in terms of that balance.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Jamie Smith has plugged the gap to a degree, but obviously
Certainly.
as a keeper batsman. I'll rattle off as quickly as I can these final ones. William Presley says, well done, Sri Lanka. Absolutely. Jeff Perkins, come on, Bear. You were promised bullshit, and by God, have they delivered.
Well, yes, they have.
Pirate Badshaw says, it's not the UK's gift to rejoin the EU. All the other member states have to agree. Good luck with that. Well,
Grubby's off. Thanks, Grubby.
Thank you very much, Grubby. If you're having lunch with James, have a small glass of Pinot Noir on me. Daz Reynolds, who gets man of the series. It says nan of the series. I think probably means man of the series. Thanks for the coverage, Primates, says Muttley. Busy Wednesday. See you for the second T20 on Friday. Love and sausages. Thanks always, Muttley. Lockie 6, the Bear, will be ferreting a quote I might forget. Mr. Rowlight, congratulations to Sri Lanka. Nick Vickers, thanks, Gorillas, for all the great coverage. Much appreciated.
You're
Nick.
most welcome.
Indeed, it'll be at least 2040 by the time the UK rejoin the EU, says Mr. Rowlight. Nicholas Agar, well done, Sri Lanka. A couple from our regulars. I won't necessarily read all of those. But George McPherson, England have been poor. Pope and McCullum need to answer a lot of questions. Having Pope as captain was a bad idea. Lawrence was poor. And then Nick Vickers, finally. The Ireland-England women's ODI is being shown live on Cricket Ireland's YouTube. If anyone wants to keep the day's play going, and then more Gorilla on Wednesday.
Indeed, indeed. I'm still trying to find this fucking place where you can watch sport online.
Oh, Daz Reynolds says, would you take one of the two Currans if fit?
Well, maybe Sam, but I'm not sure.
So Sam, he just brings something different to the bowling attack, doesn't he? It's left arm, comes in with a bit of an angle, and it's always good to have a bit of a mix-up there, don't you think?
Yeah, it can be. It can be. Man, I can never find. I've got to go so far back in my messages to find it. It's a really good site as well. If you watch it with Brave, you don't get any adverts and you get straight through. It's pretty good.
Sagia says, where can I'm looking for it now. He says you can highlight the link for the free streaming site that I posted above, and I can't find it. But if you go on YouTube and follow the thread, Sagia's got something for you there.
I think looking at this series, Mr. Like, it's been really good to see, the next generation coming to fruition. I mean, because we've had so many episodes where they're kind of rebuilding, there's a change of management, and then people come with different ideas. But looking at here, Pathan Nissanka, Dhananjay De Silva, Kamindu Mendes, it's been very there's a very optimistic outlook for the future now, with that stability being there.
Yeah, I mean, Sri Lanka had some very accomplished batsmen. If you look at their top order, they're all pretty accomplished, played a lot of tests, so, you know, with decent averages as well. Good chance they would show up, and they're certainly better than the West Indies were.
Absolutely.
Okay, I can't find this site. I wish I could find it, what it is. I can't remember what it's called, which is really annoying. Maybe I'll try and text my man and find out what it is for you.
We're back on Wednesday for the first England versus Australia T20, 6:30 EST.
And what a cracker that will be. Brendan McCullum in charge. Is he in charge now? Or? Yeah, that'll be.
Well, he is. Yeah. He's admitted that, you know, there's not so much on, so he can do it now.
I mean, will we see England go back to those high-scoring ODIs? I remember Trevor Davis was scoring 480 odd.
Depends on the wickets, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah. I mean, there is an argument to be made that under Trevor Davis' leadership, you know, he was very lucky under a good generation of players, whereas now England are kind of rebuilding.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, they've got a very very sort of experimental team coming in.
Yeah, obviously Dan Mousey, Jacob Bethel making their entries.
Yep, exactly. I can't even remember. Yeah, exactly. We need a whole bunch of new jingles for it. So, yeah, I don't know what will happen. Kumar.
So how do you engineer these jingles, Ben?
We asked Mog and Jeff and anyone else who makes jingles for us. Can you make us jingles for these players? Or Tony generally does that, and he sends them in kindly. And it's all
I
works well.
I love the harmonic ones with the vocals. Some of them are really good.
They are very good. They do a very good job. I think we should wrap up, really. Say goodbye. Time to get on home. And yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday, probably about 6:20 in the evening for the first T20 versus Australia. So until then, we can say goodbye to you all. I shall play the theme tune, and we shall be out. Good to see you all. We shall.
Thank you, everyone.
All the technology will be working as per normal on Tuesday. On Wednesday, sorry. The computer has arrived, so that is all good. We shall see you then. Until then, goodbye.
Stay tuned in. Thank you.
Yep.
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla.
Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever